What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I want to remind everybody this is episode number 629. Episode number 629 for all the folks that are keeping track of this True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before I get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And once again, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas U.S. time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I love being independent, baby. Once again, type this in your browser, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites. The following: Ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser. That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Ghost.report is the official website. And by the way, go ahead and follow me on my only social media representation on the internet today, and that's on Gab, folks. And you can go ahead, if you don't have yourself a free Gab account, well, then go ahead and get yourself one and follow me under the name Politics Ghost, okay? All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab. And I want to say what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast chat room. I want to apologize first and foremost to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. I literally took the weekend off, okay? I literally needed one of these kinds of sabbaticals in which I just stepped away from anything internets for the entire weekend. And let me tell you, it's good to kind of get away from this fiber optically connected world that we call internet. And I just wanted to apologize once again to those folks that were expecting me to be on this Saturday so that we could conduct a movie night and that sort of thing. I just had to do it, man. I'm sorry. My apologies. I just had to goddamn just, have an unwinding sabbatical session, So I just, my apologies once again to everybody in the True Capitalist Radio chat room, man. And by the way, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, and look, I'm going to make it up to everybody in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. We will have a movie night on this Saturday, and it's going to be, we'll try to start it earlier. And what we'll try to do is we'll have like nothing but horror movies, given the fact that we are in October. Halloween, baby, is a Halloween month, so we'll do something like that. And, we'll watch all kinds of weirdo B-flick, the horror flicks are, man. Anyway, I want to thank those people. And look, they're already saying it's, cool in the chat room. Look, I apologize, guys. Thank you very much. I just had to get away, man. I just had to do it. Anyway, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, then by God, all you got to do is go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, and click the subscribe button for premium content. That's all you got to do. Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do that, private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will be sure to give you a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. Well, once again, I want to say props to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. Let me go ahead and give some props to some people, and then we're going to move on with the broadcast. What's going on to the Pet Mexican? What's going on to the God of Rage, Stagio, Saber, NPC, Nat, Man Bear Pig, Holden Capitalist, Herb Capitalist, Hans Uberlander, Capitalist America? What's going on, baby? What's going on to Distilling out there? What's going on to Man Bear Pig? What's going on to Hoodie? And anybody else I missed, my apologies, man. Thank you very much for chilling and being a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room. I love each and every one of you guys, and the Inner Circle, of course. I have talked to the Inner Circle, I think, before the weekend. So, Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into the broadcast. Now, before we get to the cryptocurrency stock coverage of the broadcast, I do want to announce that, and it's kind of ironic, I don't know if you've been noticing, there's been some updating with, if you have Windows 10, or I should say Windows 10, a lot of automatic updating going on with Windows 10, and it's literally a pain in the ass. Now, I didn't even know if I was going to do a broadcast today because goddamn Windows was updating like about as soon as 2 hours ago it was updating its ass off. Now, I was so upset while this was happening. I kid you not. I was like, goddamn Windows, and just, cursing and doing a lot of stuff. Then when the damn Windows 10 finally updated and came back on, the first headline I read right when it came back on was, Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen dead at 65 years old. And I said, whoa, man. I mean, like most people, everybody was like, damn, why wasn't it Bill? Anyway, look. I just want to talk about this death of Paul Allen because we were just discussing on the broadcast on Friday about the healthcare industry. And I want to remind everybody, if you take a look at how many billionaires, there's been a lot of billionaires that die young. They die young of cancer and of health problems and things of that capacity. Why? Because they use the same physicians as the athletes. And folks, you would think that athletes, they're the ones that are always in tip-top shape and in tip-top capacity physically. You would think that athletes would be living a long time, considering that if exercise and physical fitness, is supposed to, I guess give people longevity in a lifetime, that athletes would be the guys living to 100. And that is not the case. And I hate to say that that's why Paul Allen is amongst a bunch of billionaires that have died young. And they've died young because they listened to the supposed great medical industry that we have in this country today. And it just goes to show you, folks, that it doesn't matter how much money you have. In the end, we're all dust in the wind. And I know that on this broadcast, I try my damnedest to emphasize capitalism so that you can focus on it, so you can, make your life better, so that you can, have better cars or whatever it is that you want to carve your life as. That's the beautiful part about capitalism. It's up to you, your ambitions, your motives, your skills, your opportunities to be able to carve out whatever life it is that you want in your lifetime. But I want everybody to take a consideration that even though we're all capitalists, even though we're all out here trying to do whatever we can, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, I do want everybody to take into perspective that this whole lifetime, however long that you live, is but a blink of an eye. It's like a cup of coffee. And I strongly advise everybody that in the pursuit of the almighty dollar, which makes our lives easier, maybe in some instances materialistically better, I want everybody to stop and just kind of take time for yourself. And that's what I did this weekend, folks, because you have to. You can't allow the stress of trying to pursue a living be the source of why you are going into an early grave. And listen, I'm not perfect either, folks. I'm not perfect at all. You hear me get angry. You know that I'm a stressed out person. I'm drank alcohol for a long period of time. I've damaged my goddamn vagus nerve. I've got all kinds of digestive problems that I'm currently trying to remedy at this point in time. But all I'm simply stating to everybody who's listening, it's fine to pursue capitalism, money, utilizing your opportunities and your abilities and skills to be able to navigate whatever it is that you want. But I want everybody to remember that you have to love what you're doing and appreciate life itself. Take time out to appreciate the most simplistic things. You know, like, I really get captivated. I have a big property here, and I go and got some trees, got all kinds of trees, and in the mornings there's birds, and, you know, there's all kinds of wildlife. We're just wandering around out here. You know, squirrels and skunks and, you know, raccoons and just, you know, observing nature within itself. The independent operation of nature and how it works is something that kind of, you know, puts me in a frame of mind that humbles me. As much as all of us as capitalists try to be badasses and whatnot, it humbles me, and it should humble everybody as well. And the death of Paul Allen, and lest we forget, folks, Paul Allen was Bill Gates' right-hand man. If it hadn't have been for Paul Allen, I don't think Gates would have been a billionaire. And at one point in time, folks, back not too long ago, when Bill Gates was the richest man in the world, number 2 was Paul Allen. And, you know, what's ironic about Paul Allen's death, in my opinion, is that Paul Allen, he didn't pursue all these sick, sadistic New World Order endeavors that Bill Gates is pursuing. I mean, if you don't believe me, take a look at what the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is inoculating Africa with. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, these people are fucking evil, in my opinion. And in my opinion, they're not inoculating Africa to save them. They're inoculating Africa to rid the fucking country of Africans, okay? And if you don't believe me, why don't you take a look at what the elites have planned for Africa here in the next 50 years, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's besides the point. Paul Allen never pursued whatever the hell it is that Bill Gates is pursuing now. And what he did is instead took his money and tried to make the most exciting life that he could. I mean, he owned every goddamn sports team in Seattle except for the Seattle Supersonics, which ended up moving to Oklahoma. He owned every goddamn sports team in Seattle. I believe he's the owner of the Baseball Hall of Fame. No, excuse me, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's the owner of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, this guy spent his money on what he appreciated in life. And I always thought that Paul Allen would be the guy that, you know, grew old and, you know, old age, and Bill Gates would be the first one to kind of croak of some kind of cancer or heart attack or some kind of crap like that. But no, man, it was Paul Allen, and I think that it's a shame. I think it's a shame what's going on with our medical industry when we've got billionaires. Do you understand that Paul Allen could have done anything, but instead he tried to listen to medical physicians in this country, and I think that's probably what cost him, in my opinion. I mean, I know that he had cancer some time back. I'm not too sure what treatment he, you know, participated in the getting rid of that cancer. I'm sure that whatever cancer Paul Allen has died from was a relapse, quote unquote, or what do they call it? The cancer comes back, and as I told you on Friday, folks, I mean, cancer is inside of you already. I mean, it's a cell that's inside of you. That's why they call it free radicals. But that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make is that our medical industry and pharmaceutical industry are purely evil. And they probably built Paul Allen for I don't know how many millions of dollars pretending that they were trying to save this man's life. And I don't know the whole details on Paul Allen's death, but I can only assume that he took the traditional route of cancer treatments, which is comprised of chemotherapy, even though the Journal for Oncology admitted in a report some time ago that 97% of fucking chemotherapy never works. It always comes back. They know this. They know it already. I mean, I saw a doctor on Fox say that the probability of a woman that has breast cancer who gets the surgery and the chemotherapy, the probability of them having it relapse in the next 10 to 15 years is very high. And then the doctor in this sick fucking mindset said, well, you know, 10 to 15 years might not sound like a lot, but I bet you that 10 or 15 years is a big deal if you're a mother in her late 30s. And I mean, do you understand? This is what these doctors think. They think that they are in control of our lives and can dictate when and how we can die. Now, many people in the last broadcast, I got a lot of fucking messages from people saying, Ghost, I want you to provide me documentation that doctors get paid money for prescribing chemotherapy. You're lying. Oh, yeah? Look at my Gab right now. I just reposted the damn thing. And that NBC News article that I just posted is from 2006. Now, just like I said in the Gab, it's beginning to make sense why there's been an explosion of cancer diagnosis from back then until now. Because, folks, I have never seen so many people have cancer in my life. And it's not just older people, folks. You're getting it in younger and younger people. And all it comes down to, folks, is that we are a malnourished society because of the way our food is currently mass-produced. We are a malnourished society. And the proof is in the obesity, because obese people, I'm not trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. They could fucking stop guzzling down the sugar, salt, and fat on a consistent basis. But the reason that these people get gigantuan, you know, fucking humongous celluloid dripping off the ass Snorlax fat, is because their body is begging for nutrients, man. Their body is not hungry. Their body is not going through the process to be able to gather the natural resources that are within vitamin-rich, mineral-rich, and other nutrient and trace mineral-rich foods, man. I mean, we're not getting it. We're not getting it, folks. We are malnourished. Doesn't it make sense, folks, that what you put in your body is the reason why your body is reacting the way it's reacting? Look at my Gab right there. It's right in front of you that these damn cancer doctors get kickbacks for selling quote-unquote chemotherapy. And then we wonder why there's so many cancer diagnoses out here. You know, the guys, and I say this time and time again because it bears repeating, the guys who created the PSA test, you know, the PSA test is what you take to figure out whether or not you got prostate cancer in a man, and the mammogram, both the guys who invented those tests for cancer said they would have never have invented the test had they known that it was going to be a precursor for mass misdiagnosis or overdiagnosis. And these are the guys that created the test for cancer. They said that, look, it's being overdiagnosed. And, of course, is the mainstream media talking about that? No. So, folks, in my opinion, man, you know, if we want to truly fix the medical industry, it's not demanding more health care. It's demanding proper nutrition education. These people know, and I'm going to be honest with you, folks, if truth be told, that if we had proper nutrition education on what keeps cancers and heart disease and all these ailments that fucking plague millions of people across the country and across the world, if truth be told, we would not be able to suffice the food necessary to be able to have everyone nourish their bodies. And I hate to admit that is going to be the problem. And that's why the idea of nutrition is not even considered a major aspect of healthcare. And that's why I'm trying to tell each and every one of you what you need to do. And look, I'm victim of it too, man. All right? I'm not trying to say I'm perfect, but you have to start somewhere. You have to do what, if you want to help your body, you have to give yourself a proper nourishment of minerals and vitamins and things of this capacity, man. You have to. And if you're not getting enough of it, then get a supplement that suffices all this and make sure that you're taking it. Because I guarantee you, You will not get cancer or heart disease if you're properly nourished. And even if you do get cancer, if I get cancer, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, let me out of here. I'm going to go kick back in my house. I'll let the cancer kill me. It's not a big deal. All right? I'll drop dead, or, I'll take some painkillers. I mean, why go through the fucking chemotherapy? Chemotherapy kills people, man. You know it and I know it. How many people you've known or indirectly known have died in the midst of the chemotherapy? Our medical industry is fucking sick. And we as a people, doesn't matter what fucking party you belong to, we need to demand that this health industry start coming out with the truth. And that each and every one of these people in the medical and pharmaceutical industries are a bunch of sick maniacs that are purposely getting people sick and purposely getting people dead so that they can make money. And why haven't we regulated these people? Folks, if a doctor kills you on the operating table, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no legal recourse. There's nothing you can do about it. This person can't get arrested. Nothing. Nothing can be done. That's what, we're dealing with. This is the kind of medical industry that we're dealing with. None of these people are being held accountable for anything. Look at the pharmaceutical industry. We are literally their beta testers, for fuck's sake. And now, all these folks that are afflicted with the most recent one I saw was diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I'm seeing all kinds of lawyers' advertisements. Have you taken this type 2 diabetes drug and got cancer? Well, it's been taken off the market and you could get a cash award. Are you joking? And folks, I've told you on the last broadcast, you could cure yourself of diabetes. This is not an uncurable disease. They've known about a cure for diabetes for fucking 60 years. 60, 70 years. All right? And let me tell you what it comes down to is that you have literally turned your body's absorption of nutrients to depend on sugar and carbohydrates as a means of finding fuel for your body. And then at some point your pancreas doesn't use it for fuel and it makes it go fucking completely out of whack. And your gut bacteria isn't able to not only properly break down the food, but you're not properly intaking nutrients. Now, I'm not an advocate for any kind of major diet because I know that people consider keto diet. If I do this, this happens. I'm not advising anybody to do anything, and you do your own research, but what you can do is easily cut out the sugar and carbs and intake more fats and nutrients. I'm talking real fats. I'm not talking oils either. Processed oils. Folks, processed oil is what causes clogged arteries. That's why when all these morons are out here talking about, I like having the Mediterranean diet, and the Mediterranean diet is so great. You notice that it's mostly vegans that are dying of heart attacks, even though they're vegans. The Mediterranean diet, what is the average age of the people that are in the Mediterranean? What, it's fucking 58, 60, something ridiculous like that? It's because you're putting oil directly into your body. It's like you're fucking putting processed oil directly in your body, and that's going in through your goddamn heart, and it's clogging the son of a bitch up. It's not the cheeseburgers, believe it or not, unless you cook it in grease, vegetable oil. If you cook it in lard or butter, that's a different story, and that's another thing. They've made it so bad to have butter and steaks with fat and animal fats and these things. Because why? Because I told you on Friday, folks, Crisco, all right, and the folks who backed up the company that backed up Crisco was once a submarine lubricant in Germany. And because they had the patent on this thing, because they purchased it and had it, they needed a means to be able to market it to people. And believe it or not, folks, This is why Crisco has been marketed as a safer alternative, because they purchased, and you can look this up, they literally bought out the American Heart Association back in the 50s. I forgot how much they paid them to suggest that Crisco was a safer alternative to, you know, butters and fats and lards and things of that capacity. And ever since then, I'd like for you to kind of take a look at when Crisco and other types of shortenings were used as an alternative for butters. And I'm not talking about margarine. Margarine is just the same. I'm talking about real butters, fats. You're gonna coincide a decline in people in general, a decline in people's health, an increase in heart disease, an increase in all this other. Because, folks, we need animal fats. Now, when it comes to diabetes, you have to train your body in type 2 diabetes to not seek sugar and carbs as a means of fueling your body. And by doing that, you're going to have to eliminate it, unfortunately. I mean, completely. You can't do it. You've got to train your body. Remember, you did this to yourself. You got to train your body. And you've got to intake fats, animal fats, no processed oils, no processed foods, fats, I mean, obviously fruits, vegetables, cheese, heavy creams. Make sure to get all the nutrients as well, not just eat that exclusively. You know, make sure to get some veggies, all that shit. And then before you know it, folks, you're going to train your body. Instead of seeking sugar and carbs as a means of fueling your body, it'll directly start looking for fuel in fats. And for all those that have read about the keto diet, that's really what it's trying to train your body to do in a very extreme way. So I would advise anybody who's going to consider that to make sure you know that you don't have any other physical ailments that could potentially put you at risk when you're in ketosis. If you want to take the formal wording, when you literally go from your body from burning carbs and sugar as fuel to fats, it's called ketosis. Oh yeah, and by the way, no wheats, no oatmeals, none of that stuff. Y'all ever heard of wheat gut? I mean, these things are horrible for you. There's bleaches. I just read an article about this today, that bread is one of the worst things that you can eat, and I'm glad they're finally admitting it. Anyway, folks, look, I didn't mean to get off on this tirade once again, man. Look, I don't like the fact that I can observe what's going on. I've been on this earth a long time, and I observe that from literally the 80s to now, just based on that time frame, we have seen a major explosion in just cancers, heart disease, kidney disease, respiratory disease, the whole 9 yards. And I've seen it get younger and younger. And you know something, folks? It's all about nutrition. I know it seems stupid because you're thought to think that if I pop a pill, some chemically induced pill, that I should be better. That's not what it's about, man. You have to. You have to make sure that you're healthy, man. I'm sorry, because if you don't, this doctor, once you get to the point where you got to go to a doctor, you think that they got your best interest in hand? Especially if you got good insurance. You know, the better insurance you have, the more likely you're going to be used to be bilked in every capacity. I mean, just imagine somebody, let's just take it from a doctor's perspective. Let's just say I'm a doctor, I'm an evil doctor, and I just examined this patient, I got the tests in, they've got type 2 diabetes. Now, instead of advising them what I just advised each and everybody out here for free, instead of advising them that, hey, look, you need to cut out carbs and sugar, all right, and just eliminate breads, wheats, oatmeal, that sort of thing, eat nothing but fats, no margarines, no processed oils, just regular lard, butters, real butter, no margarine, creams, etc. Do that here for the next 3 to 6 months, and then we're going to evaluate where exactly you are on your blood tests, and where you are on your blood sugars, etc. And you know what you'll find? You'll find that you're no longer diabetic after about 3 to 6 months. But I'm an evil doctor. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to kind of use your diabetic diagnosis as a means to prescribe you drugs and force you to come back on a monthly basis so we can check on you and do this and we can prod you and here you got to check your blood sugar, here let me sell you one of these blood sugar checkers and all this shit. And then when they're diabetic, most of the time people that are diabetic, they are not going to stop eating sweets. And the reason they're not going to stop eating sweets, folks, is because that's how they got diabetic in the first place. So they're going to continue to eat sweets, and the doctor's going to say, look, don't eat sweets, but if you do, here's some pills. And that's literally how, look, I live in San Antonio or San Antonio, and that's literally how people are living out here. They are juicing this fucking town of fat diabetics. And it's because they promote the environment out here is there's a in the impoverished areas of this town. I'm not talking about in the affluent area. I'm talking about the impoverished areas. There's a goddamn fucking bakery on every corner. They've got the ice cream man going out and handing out high sugar popsicles and ice creams and what do they call? They call shaved ice out here, they call them raspas. That's what the Mexicans call raspas or snow cones. All sugar, that's all these people eat, man. They just had a goddamn festival out here in San Antonio called the Raspa Festival, for fuck's sake. I'm just saying, this is where the money comes from when it comes to being a doctor. This is where the money comes from. Bringing these people, oh man, we got to do something about this. Oh, you've got an ulcerated leg, we got to treat this. Oh, look, it seems as if you might have artery clogging because of your diabetic. We're going to have to go in there. The whole shit. So they're not going to try to cure you. There is no incentive to cure you. And this industry, and I hate to go into overtime here on the beginning of this broadcast, but there is no liability to these people. Literally, you know what happens if you die on an operating table? They're going to come out and tell your family, look, your husband or your father or your wife or your sister, your mother, or whoever just died on the operating table. Here, call my insurance company. And literally walk away. Literally walk away. That's what they do. That's what they do. And there's no legal recourse. There's nothing. You can't take these people personally to any kind of legal court where you can get kind of financial restitution, You got to deal with their insurance company. There's no people that are going to get arrested. Doctors don't get arrested unless they are so obvious about it. Like, I don't know if you've heard here about a couple of years ago, they found some schmuck doctor. Every goddamn patient that went into this guy ended up with cancer and ended up, not only did he diagnose these people with chemotherapy, he was watering down the chemotherapy. Like, I'm not to make double the fucking chemotherapy kickbacks. I'm not even fucking kidding around. That's the only time that you'll ever fucking see a doctor get arrested. And if you want my opinion, I think most of the industry should be arrested. They're not curing nothing. They're not doing anything for anybody. That's why every time you go to the doctor, what do they call their location? They call it a practice. Because they're practicing on you. And how the hell is he going to know any better than you about your body and how you're feeling? God damn it, educate yourself. Anyway, look, I'm sorry for going off on this tirade, folks. I'm just trying to save people. I just want to save some people out here. I don't think it's right that innocent people that are going to a medical industry thinking they're getting help when they're not. If anything, they're getting a faster road to death or a dependency on pharmaceuticals in which even if you're alive while taking these pharmaceuticals, haven't you heard these fucking old people got to get fucking jobs at 75 so that they can pay for their fucking goddamn medication? What kind of shit is that? Never in my life had I ever heard that goddamn old people were going to have to get goddamn bag jobs at the fucking grocery store, bagger jobs, so they can pay for their medication. It's ridiculous, man. I can't believe it. Just get educated about nutrition, man. That's all I'm saying. It's what you don't eat it's what affects you. It's what you don't eat. Anyway, folks, let me move on, all right? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off on that tirade, but Paul Allen, man, fucking the billionaire that helped Bill Gates create Microsoft. At one point in time, he was the second richest man in the world, is dead at 65 years old. And I'd like for you all to go and check how many billionaires have died throughout the years, folks. If you're a billionaire, you're likely to die because why? You think that the best doctors are the ones that athletes go to when, come on, man. I mean, take a look at the average lifespan of an athlete. Just saying. Anyway, let's get to crypto and stocks because I know everybody wants to know what the hell's going on out here in the financial markets, especially the capitalists out here. Sorry for the long soliloquy on this Monday evening, but I just had to say it, man. Let's go ahead and get to the market capitalization of the cryptocurrency market. Now, folks, it is on the rise from the last time we've talked to each other. And the reason that we saw a major uptick here recently in the cryptocurrency markets was because of many factors, okay? First factor is that investors are becoming leery of Tether. Oh, didn't I always say that Tether was a fucking ripoff? But since the market's using it, I guess we got to cover it every now and then. But now, all of a sudden, Tether and the credibility of it as a cryptocurrency has come into question. And the reason is, folks, is because rumors, and this is according to Bloomberg, rumors that Bitfinex could be possibly, not in the best financial health, or excuse me, but the financial health of itself, like it's not necessarily doing very well, is because if Tether is going down, then Bitfinex is going down. Why? Because they have the same CEO. They've got the same CEO. Now, according to Bitfinex, everything's fine, everything's dandy. There's nothing wrong with the financial health of the company, but that's literally what caused the uptick in the cryptocurrency markets. As you can see on the charts here today, on whatever crypto you're looking at, that's what caused people were like, hey, I want out of Tether and I want out of Bitfinex, man. I want to get my funds out before funds are not safe. So anyway, that's why we see this uptick and everything's pretty much in the green right now, except for Tether. Tether, folks, it's supposed to be in or around the dollar price. But during the spike, when you saw this dramatic increase in the cryptocurrency markets, we saw Tether go down to 93 cents. That spooked the market, and that's why you got this rally, if you will. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cryptocurrency market cap of the entire market. The market cap of the entire market is $211 billion market capitalization. Now, I want to tell everybody right now that the ride upward is looming. Now, aside from the CNBCs and the Bloombergs of the world calling for a major rally in crypto for whatever reason at the end of the year, I don't know why they're promoting that, but I mean, they keep saying it. You've got more and more institutional investments, investment firms now converting to crypto. Today, folks, Fidelity Investment launches a cryptocurrency trading platform, baby. All right, inching that much closer for more and more institutional investments to come into the cryptocurrency market and be able to cross-platform in which they could trade fiat for cryptos, cryptos for stocks, stocks for fiat, stocks for crypto. I mean, that's where we're headed. And Fidelity Investments announced today that they are launching a cryptocurrency trading platform. I'm not too sure if it's already online, but Here we come, baby. That's why I keep telling you, $200 billion, $211 billion market cap for the entire cryptocurrency market is a fucking scratch in the bucket. Excuse my French. Let's go ahead and go to Bitcoin. Let's get some coverage going on. Bitcoin, its market capitalization is $114 billion market cap for BTC is the symbol. Circulating supply is 17.3 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone up 4.88%. Current price for Bitcoin is $6,500 and $6,598.79 per Bitcoin. My apologies. Let's get to Ethereum. ETH is the symbol. Market cap is $21 billion market capitalization. Circulating supply is 102 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum has gone up 6.86%. Current price for Ethereum is $209.55 per Ethereum. Let's go ahead and get to XRP Ripple, and the only reason we're covering this is because Ripple gets them partnerships, man. There's 3 already, and another few financial investment firms that are utilizing their blockchain for transactions. So these partnerships is what makes this look lucrative here for the next 6 to 8 months, and that's what I've been saying here for the past 2 or 3 weeks of the show. XRP market capitalization is $17.8 billion market cap. Circulating supply is $40 billion in circulation. Jesus Christ, I'm stumbling over here. Give me my freaking fresh H2O up in here so I can... man, I wish that was beer! I wish that was beer! Anyway, $40 billion in circulation for XRP. In the past 24 hours, XRP has gone up 9.50% increase. Current price for XRP is 44 cents. 44 cents. Let's get to BCH or Bitcoin Cash. BCH is the symbol. Market cap is $7.9 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 17.4 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash has gone up 4.43% increase. Current price for Bitcoin Cash, $459.60 per Bitcoin Cash. Let's take a look at Litecoin, folks. LTC, the symbol. Market capitalization is $3.2 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 58 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Litecoin has gone up 5.05%. Current price for Litecoin is $54.93 per Litecoin. Let's continue. Let's get to Monero. My bad, Monero. XMR is the symbol for Monero. Market capitalization is $1.7 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 16.4 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Monero has gone up 6.40%. Current price for Monero is $107.37 per Monero. Let's get to Dash, folks. DASH. And I gotta keep saying this. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to plant seeds out there. Take a look at my Gab once again, folks. If you want a link to Genesis-mining.com, that's Genesis minus, or the little hyphen, whatever you want to call it, Genesis-mining.com. And take a look at the Dash mining contracts, man. They are the best deal, in my opinion, of all contracts available on Genesis-mining.com. And I'm just letting y'all know that's where the money's at right now. If you want to get yourself a 2-year mining contract and have daily deposits in your wallet, just entertain that while supplies last. These goddamn things go quick. So go ahead and take a look at Genesis-mining.com. Take a look at the mining contracts for Dash. They are very lucrative. And if you are going to entertain a contract with Genesis-mining, you got to use the discount code, baby. Everybody's got to use the discount code. The discount code is WEA296. Once again, the discount code for Genesis-mining.com, WEA296. Now, let's go ahead and continue with the coverage here. Dash, market capitalization is $1.3 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 8.3 million in circulation. Very low for Dash. That's why I like it. In the past 24 hours, Dash has gone up 5.12%. Current price for Dash is $165.20 per Dash. Let's continue. Let's get with Zcash here. ZEC. Market capitalization is $568 million market cap. The circulating supply for Zcash, believe it or not, folks, 5 million. We've just struck 5 million in circulation for Zcash. In the past 24 hours, Zcash has gone up 2.95%. Current price for Zcash is $113.13 per Zcash. Let's get to 0x. Now, 0x, man, that's symbol ZRX. We saw it go as high as about 79 cents, saw it pull back. We are now seeing a pull back up. I like this one for a long-term investment, in my opinion, because I see this one doing the same trajectory as EOS, in my opinion. In my opinion. Let's take a look at 0x, ZRX, 395 million in market capitalization. The circulating supply is 541 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, 0x has gone up 3.46%. Current price for 0x, 73 cents per 0x. Let's continue to Quantum, QTUM. All right, it's also on the plus side with everything else. Even though in this past contraction, everything took it on the teeth. Let's go ahead and take a look at Quantum. My biggest holding at this point in time, QTUM, market capitalization is $325 million market cap. Circulating supply is 88 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, QTUM has gone up 5.58%. Current price is $3.66 per Quantum. And like I said, I gabbed out the Forbes article that states that Quantum, QTUM, is one of those goddamn cryptocurrencies you got to look for 2019. I'm telling you, the value of cryptocurrency is in the technology, folks. Anyway, look, I'm looking at the time. We got to go ahead and do some coverage on the stock market here. Let's go ahead and do so. Now, folks, we saw the stock sell off today on global tensions. And believe it or not, folks, Sears, you know, the infamous old Sears Roebuck, is filing for bankruptcy. That's right, folks. Filing for bankruptcy is Sears. And I'm telling you right now, it's a damn shame, because Sears was the Amazon.com back at the turn of the 20th century. Now, how did Sears make its money? By catalog distribution. Before there was an internet, before there was any kind of computing devices, people throughout the United States of America would order via catalog items from Sears Roebuck, which ended up shortening up to Sears, going back to like 1899, 1900. I mean, geez, I can't believe it's Sears going out of business. Just goes to show you that those of us that shopped at Sears, especially when we were youngins, we're getting old, man. We're getting old. Anyway, that's why we saw some contractions in the market, folks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow. The Dow is down 89.44 points, a percentage decrease of 0.35%, closing out the Dow at 25,250.55 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. Let's go ahead and get to the S&P. It's also down today, folks, 16.34 points, a percentage decrease of 0.59%, closing out the S&P at 2,750.79 points for the S&P 500. We've got the NASDAQ. It's also down 66.15 points, a percentage decrease of 0.88%, closing out the NASDAQ at 7,430.74 points for the NASDAQ composite. Now, once again, the reason we're seeing little bit I read out here is because of some global tensions. Got global tensions going on with the trade war with China and, you know, the recent news about Saudi Arabia, which is what we're going to get to here in just a second. But aside from that, the Sears Roebuck thing, or Sears thing, kind of blew everybody for a loop. All right. Let's go ahead and get to energy, folks. Now, I'm not going to talk about this now, but what have I told you about this Jamal Khashoggi crap? I told you. I've been telling you. Well, now, if the president does anything to Saudi Arabia in reference to this guy's disappearance, the Saudis have already said that they're going to raise goddamn oil prices to $200 to $400 a barrel as a consequence of any kind of retribution for the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So, and not even that. I just think that the destabilization of the Middle East in general makes an ETF that coincides with the rise of oil very attractive to keep in one's portfolio here in the next 6 months to a year. It's my opinion. Let's go ahead and get to WTI sweet crude here. We've got WTI up today 8 cents, a percentage increase of 0.11%. Current price for WTI is $71.68 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. We've got Brent crude. It's also up today 11 cents, a percentage increase of 0.14%, closing out Brent crude at $80.89 per barrel of Brent crude oil. Gasoline, it's up modestly, folks, 0.05%. Natural gas is up 0.49%. And here comes heating oil. It's getting a little cold out there. It's cold over here. It's already in the 40s out here. And it was raining today, and it's still raining, and it sucks. But here comes that heating oil rally, and it'll last throughout the summer, the winter. I'm even getting my goddamn seasons mixed up here. It will be here for the winter, and if it's a long, cold winter like the Farmer's Almanac predicts, there'll be a lot of demand for that right there. A lot of demand. Anyway, let's get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals! Gold is up, folks, 60 cents, a percentage increase of 0.05%, closing out gold at $1,230.90 per troy ounce of gold. Silver today is unchanged at $14.73 per troy ounce of silver. We've got copper down modestly, 0.09%, and platinum is up 0.13% for platinum. Good God, give me my H2O up in here. Good stuff, man. I wish this was beer! Sorry. It's a tension breaker. I have to do that every now and then. Let's get to the grains, folks. All right, corn is down 0.46%. Wheat is down 0.14%. We've got oats down 0.17%. Rough rice is down 0.61%. Soybean is down 0.22%. Soybean oil is up modestly, 0.03%. And canola is down 0.22%. Now, one thing that's very interesting, folks, if you take a look at what happened in the Panhandle and areas of Florida due to Hurricane Michael, I would try to entertain what are the major crops out there that have been damaged. I don't even think we've had a full assessment on what's happening out there. But you know that if crops and livestock have been completely decimated because of the hurricane, there's obviously going to be a shortage, obviously going to be a shrink in production. So, you know, these are one of these plays that you want to entertain. You know, what got damaged? I'm just saying, look, I'm a capitalist. All right? I mean, I'm making money, baby. That's what I fucking do. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to plant seeds out here in hopes of helping people in their strategy of investing. That's all I'm trying to do, for Christ's sake, man. And sometimes people call me a bad guy because I do that. I mean, all I'm doing is just trying to plant capitalist seeds, baby. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spark synapses in the brains of people in this fiber optically connected world we call the internet in hopes of them becoming fucking unadulterated capitalists. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I get up here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, for Christ's sake. I hope that I'm being successful. I hope I'm being successful and I'm not just, being listened to by a bunch of autistic tards, all right? Anyway, let's get to the soft, shall we? Cocoa, it is down today, 0.88%. Coffee, it continues to go up, folks, and the reason coffee's going up, take a look at all the natural disasters, man. Like typhoon in Indonesia, what's the death toll at the typhoon and the tsunami out there? It's like 3,000-4,000 people dead. And I know Indonesia has a somewhat of a percentage of the coffee market. You just had some hurricane hit up Portugal and Spain. You had some, hurricanes down in the South American region. So this, in my opinion, is what's causing the coffee prices to go up. I mean, it's been going up percentage-wise every time we've ever covered it on this broadcast for the past couple of weeks. So I hope that you're enjoying your coffee. Anyway, coffee is up 2.40%, and the same goes for sugar. Sugar is also up, folks, 2.75%. Orange juice is up, but it's up modestly, 0.21%. We've got cotton. It is also up 0.45%. Lumber is finally starting to take an increase. Now, why did I say lumber was going to take an increase last week, even though we're seeing high interest rates and we're curbing house production? Because take a look at the natural disasters in the Carolinas, now in the panhandle of Florida and elsewhere. I mean, there's going to have to be some rebuilding done. There's got to be some rebuilding, and they got to get what? They got to get lumber. Lumber is up 1.59%. Rubber is down 0.24%. And ethanol is down 0.08%. Let's go ahead and continue. Let's go to livestock. Live cattle, it is up 1.55%. We've got cattle feeder, it's up 0.52%. I wonder if that means that steaks are going to go up right before the damn holidays. Because steaks have been pretty modest in their pricing, I do have to admit. I've been getting slabs of freaking porterhouses and T-bones and New York strips and all that good stuff, baby. So anyway, let me go ahead and continue. We've got cattle feeder up 0.52%. Now let's take a look at lean hog. Lean hog is back on the rise. So if you're thinking about getting yourself a fat, greasy-ass pork butt this Thanksgiving, it looks like you're going to have to be a little lighter in the wallet because of it, because I've been announcing increases in lean hogs for months already, right, folks? Good God, today is no different. Lean hog is up 3.18% increase on the damn day, and that, my friends, is the markets for your ass, for Christ's sake. Good God. Anyway, I want to thank everybody in this broadcast for listening. I do appreciate it, okay? And, by the way, I do, and look at everybody in the chat room. Look at they're showing off the merch in the chat room. Props once again to the True Capitalist Radio chat room, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, folks, we are now in the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody who is tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire, all right? All right? Spread it across the internets and throughout the world. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, you are listening to the political underground, baby. You are listening to the political underground. All right? Spread it all across the internet throughout the world. All right? And type it in your browser, add it to your bookmarks, add it to your favorites. The official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. Once again, It is ghost.report, all right? That's all you got to type in your browser. That's it, ghost.report. That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, baby. And by the way, I got to give some more props to the people in the True Capitalist Radio chat room, man. Cheers to these guys. If you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, once again, all you got to do is go to my only social media representation on the internet today, and that is Gab, folks. All right? If you don't have yourself a free Gab account, well, then get yourself one. And once you do, follow me. Follow me under the name Politics Ghost, okay? All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab. And if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, then all you got to do is go to my Gab account right now and click the subscribe button for premium content, baby, all right? Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will give you a personal invitation back with a link to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple, all right, folks? Anyway, and by the way, man, there's been some people out here that have been throwing some very, very generous throwings into the cryptocurrency wishing well. I do want to say cheers to each and every one of you. You're the reason why the continuity of the show continues to sustain itself. We recently got, I think the last batch of people throwing stuff into the cryptocurrency wishing well was like 90 quantum. All right, between two folks, 90 quantum, man. So I want to say cheers to you guys. Thank you guys. And look, I unfortunately did nothing this weekend, so I got a lot of shit to do. I got to send people some freaking production notes. You know, I gotta do some stuff. So my apologies, but they're going out, and I want to thank you guys, and that's why I continue to come up here and do the broadcast, baby. I continue to do the broadcast. And if you want to throw something in the cryptocurrency wishing well, all you got to do is go to ghost.report and click the cryptocurrency wishing well tab, throw some cryptocurrency, and watch all your dreams come true while at the same time sustaining the continuity of this broadcast. Anyway, now that we got that all out of the way, let me get one more drink of water here. I wish this was beer! Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the modern-day George Washington, the man himself who brought America back to the people. I'm talking about President Trump. Now, even though, once again, you've got mainstream media slanderously lying about this man, completely spreading falsehoods, false narratives, he's got everybody in the world against him. The approval rating right now for the president is at 51%. All right, so, you know, take that, you stupid, dumb leftist long hairs. What do you bedwetting liberals think about that? Anyway, folks, let me continue on with some president news. The president continues on with his 2018 rallies. Man, he is having a lot of rallies. And the reason he is, folks, is he's trying to conjure up the spirit of 2016 and parlay it into 2018 midterms. And these midterm elections are very important. They're even hollering about it on the left, how important it is. And that's why those of us on the right, we can't be complacent, man. You and everybody you know has to go to vote when it comes voting time, especially you folks that have early voting. All right? If you've got early voting, then what are you doing here? Go and vote everything Republican, folks. We don't need the Democratic Party contributing to the degradation of America. They did enough of that during the Obama administration. They damn near almost destroyed this country during the Obama administration. And as I've stated time and time again, the only reason that the Democrats come out for anybody, the only reason they come out and make these valiant speeches on TV for anybody is for what? Illegal immigrants, criminals, and those who sexualize children, huh? That's all it comes down to. You know it and I know it. And this, I don't know how anybody can be for the Democrats in 2018, given what they are doing at this point in time, given what they are promoting, etc. And like the president has emphasized in every one of these rallies, the Democrats are too dangerous for power. They're too fanatical. They're too dangerous. I don't even think most of these people are in their right minds, for heaven's sake. And that's why the president is going out and doing as many rallies as he can, hoping that the base gets galvanized and they go out there, vote in mass. And I hope that all this work that the president is doing, it isn't for naught. I hope that he's actually doing, and it's going to pay some major political capital in 2018. Because remember, even though the president has accomplished a lot in 2 years, he had a lot of opposition in this goddamn very limited Republican-dominated Congress. And remember, some of these bills, like the repealing of Obamacare, came to one vote. And I'll say it, even though the president, doesn't want to take bad PR and say his name anymore. John Turncoat McCain, rest in piss, the goddamn Songbird McCain, Tokyo Rose McCain, he was the guy that touted, we need to repeal Obamacare. And when it came down to him voting for it, he didn't want to do it. Why? I don't like Trump. I'm a little bit of a bitch. And same with Jeff Flake. Same with all these Republicans that are never Trumpers out here. We need to elect enough Republicans so that we can fully fulfill the Make America Great Again policies. We need a full Republican Congress so that we can fully build this wall. We need a full Republican Congress so that we can truly reform immigration. And like the president says on a consistent basis, we have the dumbest immigration laws in the world. An immigration lottery system? I've never heard of such a thing. Chain migration? Folks, we need to stop this, just like the president says. And I'm glad the president is putting immigration on the focal point. Because as he says, and I'm going to say, without borders, you have no country. And if you have no country, you are in globalism. Do you understand? And we have talked many times on this broadcast that globalism is communism, and you know it and I know it. That's why the Democrats care more about illegal immigrants. That's why they want open borders. Because these Democrats think by selling out the United States that they'll become some bigwig bureaucrats within the world government. That's why there was talk about potentially having Barack Obama as the UN Secretary General. You all remember that? And they're still thinking about that if this one croaks or decides to step down. That's why these Democrats sell us out. They think they will get themselves some prominent bureaucratic position in the goddamn bureaucracy of globalism. And I'm glad the president is going out there, and I'm glad that he is rallying the troops, because we have to go to the goddamn polls, man. It's got to be a red wave. Do you understand me? It has got to be a red wave. And by the way, did you all see that 60 Minutes interview with Donald Trump, man? I'm telling you, man, this is what makes Trump so appealing to the people. All right? No nonsense, raw, truthful, uncensored. I mean, that's what makes everybody go to his rallies. That's why everybody goes and watches every one of his rallies. I know I do. I want to hear what this man has to say. He's off the cuff. He doesn't come in with a fucking teleprompter like our last president. I mean, this is what makes Trump Trump, man. And during the 60 Minutes interview, he was slapping every attempt at interview traps like brushing his shoulders off, man. Oh, man, I'm telling you, this broad from 60 Minutes, she thought she was going to be able to corner the president. And every time she tried, the president just, brushed her off like he was brushing his shoulders off, man. I'm telling you, I really do appreciate listening to the president. I appreciate everything he says. He's truthful. He's pure Americana. He cares about the country. And as I've stated many times, this man has risked his own life, his family's lives, his fortune, his companies, in an attempt to become president so he could give power back to the people. Hence, why everybody in the government doesn't like Trump. Because the power belonged with them and the status quo, remember? Drain the swamp, baby. They don't want to be drained. That's why we have to make sure that we hold every one of these goddamn ridiculous, pathetic, soulless, cash whore politicians. We got to make sure we hold them accountable. And we don't hold them accountable by going up and protesting in their office and assaulting them or anything of that capacity. We go to the ballot box and remove them from power, because that is what matters. And that's what these stupid, dumb leftist losers out here that are protesting don't understand. You can protest till you're fucking blue in the face. Unless you're going to have the masses go out and vote at the ballot box, you're not going to be able to do jack. You will be removed from power easily through the ballot box. And, you know, the more and more these leftists are acting more and more radical, and the more scenes that we're looking at, they are turning off major America. I mean, these goddamn Democrats are talking like they came straight out of Mao Zedong's teachings or something. I mean, this is completely insane. Anyway, I do appreciate the president coming out. And look, that 60 Minutes interview yesterday was it was great. You know, it was just classic Trump. Classic Trump, and that's what we need more of. That's what the Democrats are fear of. They don't know how to combat this. I mean, what did I hear recently? They took a poll amongst Democrats on who they would like to see as the opponent for Donald Trump in 2020. Joe Biden. Creepy ass Joe Biden is who they are picking out here, for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me? Joe Biden has so many gaffes, and not to mention, I mean, look, you can go into my videos right now on Gab and look at creepy Joe Biden rubbing and kissing and literally molesting girls on C-SPAN. And look, just go into my videos on Gab. You'll see what I'm talking about. Creepy Joe Biden. If he thinks he's going to be able to run for president and these types of things aren't going to be used against him, he's got another thing coming. All right? You got another thing coming. But yeah, creepy Joe Biden is who they got going for 2020. And guess who was second? Hi, I'm Bernie Sanders, and I know I have no chance in hell winning any kind of presidency. It doesn't matter. I'm going to continue campaigning. I'm going to continue going to my own rallies. And I want each and every one of you to keep contributing. Remember, 2016 was almost 3 years ago. I need more money. That $250 billion that you all gave me is not enough. Oh, I'm sorry, 250 million. That wasn't billion. It was millions. Sorry, oy vey. I was thinking over my head. $250 million. It's gone away now. I need more money. The book now that I wrote, I need more money. So come to Bernie Sanders rallies and take whatever change you got left in your pocket and put it right in my pocket, please. All right? That's the second guy. Bernie Sanders is the second guy in this fucking Democrat poll. Can you believe this? As potential front runners as an opponent for Donald Trump in 2020, for Christ's sake. Give me a break. Is this all they got? Is this all they got, for Christ's sake? Good God. And speaking of one of these people, Pocahontas, you know, the infamous Elizabeth Warren, I think she was like third or fourth in that voting list of people who Democrats would like to see against Trump. But I don't know if you saw this today, but it's been in every goddamn mainstream media outlet that Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, attempts to prove she was Native American by taking a DNA test. And you know, this is how sick and dumb these dumb fucking idiot Democrats are, okay? It turns out that Elizabeth Warren is 1 1,025th American Indian. I mean, are you kidding me? And she's justifying this as proof that she's a Native American? This is a joke. This is a joke. She's claiming minority status that she's an American Indian at 1 1,025th American Indian. I mean, there were some guys in the inner circle that were like, exchanging those, what was it, 23andMe or whatever it is, these DNA tests. And we were laughing at some guy because he's pure white, he says, he likes to be racial, let's put it that way. And it turns out he's like 2% black. I mean, I'm not joking. He's like 2% black. He's like, what the hell? Who banged a black guy back in my generation? And folks, that 2% is like eons more than 1 1,025th. I mean, and you know what Elizabeth Warren had the gall to say? Look, I took my test. I proved that I'm an American Indian. So, hey, Donald, remember that $1 million you said you were going to give me? Let me, how about a little something, for the effort? Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Elizabeth Warren, I mean, this just goes to show you how disconnected Democrats are and how ridiculous they will go to prove, quote, technically something. No, you don't understand. I'm Elizabeth Warren. I am 1 1,025th American Indian. Okay? I'm 1 1,025th American Indian, dude. Now, hey, Donald Trump, how about the money? How about that $1 million you said that you're going to give me if I got a goddamn test? How about a little something for the effort? And Warren still used this as a means of obtaining employment, lest we forget. In 1987, she put down herself as an ethnic minority, as being an American Indian, to get her tenureship at a college in 1987. And then, conveniently enough, used that same authority being employed at that, I believe it's Harvard, used that same position to remove it. She removed the fact that she was hired as a minority-based employee, claiming she was American Indian, and then removed it so she could claim that, it never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, it's documented. I was not hired because I was American Indian. She took it away. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. I'm not even kidding around, man. And why did Elizabeth Warren come out with this anyway? I mean, I want to be honest with you. This is self-serving of Elizabeth Warren. I mean, we are but 20 days, not even 20, right? Like 20 days away. 20 days away from the election. And Elizabeth Warren pulls this garbage? I mean, this is egg on the face of every Democrat that's trying to run for re-election, because now we've got Elizabeth Warren on every goddamn mainstream media outlet about her 1 1,025th part American Indian that she is, for Christ's sake. And why she did this and why she's being self-serving is because she's obviously doing this as a potential prep for a 2020 run against the Donald. Are you kidding me, man? I'm telling you, Donald Trump would eat her stupid, dumb, kookster-ass lunch. Are you joking? I mean, how you can stay there with a straight face and say that you're American Indian with 1 1,025th part of you that's Indian is just obnoxious. It's the same thing as this fucking Irish asshole that's out here in Texas that's running against Ted Cruz out here. Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, look, it's Beto O'Rourke. Bro, you're full-blooded Irish. There ain't no goddamn Mexican in you, you dumb shit. And this is what goddamn Democrats do all the time. They just take their own liberty to make themselves ethnic, Like, my name is Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, man, Beto O'Rourke, Holmes. Like when Justin Trudeau landed in India and came out the plane with fucking obnoxious Indian garb. I mean, these Democrats and these liberals think that they have the carte blanche to do that. I just think it's obnoxious. I think that's more racist than somebody being racist. I'm not even kidding around. I mean, isn't that cultural appropriation in the leftist terms? I mean, isn't that? I'm just saying. Anyway, folks, once again, Pocahontas, a.k.a. Elizabeth Warren, has a DNA test to, quote, prove she's a Native American, and it ends up coming out that she's 1 in 1,025th American Indian, and that supposedly in her stupid, kooky-ass leftist mind justifies her stating that she's an American Indian. That's just great. That's typical Democrat thinking. That's how these idiots think, man. I'm not joking. Anyway, I don't want to continue talking about this four-eyed wannabe Pocahontas doofus. Let's move on, shall we? Now, I do want to talk about Jamal Khashoggi. Now, what did I tell you all for the past couple of shows Jamal Khashoggi was all about? I said that it is an internal CIA civil war. Internal CIA black ops civil war, because lest we forget, folks, that the current kingdom in Saudi Arabia is the bin Salman kingdom. The bin Salman kingdom does not like Wahhabism. As a matter of fact, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is incrementally, in a slow capacity, trying to bring in secularism into the kingdom. I mean, that's why women can drive now in Saudi Arabia, because bin Salman wasn't like the traditional kingdoms of past. For the past couple of kingdoms in Saudi Arabia, they were Wahhabist. And I think that people need to kind of look at the definition of Wahhabism, because that is the philosophy and religious ideology that was encompassed in the previous two kingdoms in Saudi Arabia. Now, why is that important? Because, folks, those kingdoms did black operations with the United States CIA. And those operations include, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth, 9/11, 2001. Remember, all those people were Saudi Arabians. And lest we forget that Osama bin Laden was a Saudi Arabian himself. And lest we forget, I mean, Osama bin Laden was CIA. His goddamn CIA name was Tim Osman. All right? I mean, I'll go into him in a minute. But lest we forget, it was Saudi Arabia. It was also the Mossad. It was also elements of NATO that aided in this whole goddamn 9/11 attack. And I don't know if you all have seen this documentary, but I'm going to repost it again because I think it is a very, very good documentary to see. Let me go ahead and repost this now. It's called September 11th, The New Pearl Harbor. I just posted it right there. That is one of 3 parts. I think the whole documentary is like at least 6 or 7 hours long. It is worth sitting down and viewing the whole thing. And it'll go into explicit detail on why whatever happened on 9/11/2001 was not the narrative that they gave us. And I want to remind everybody of one more thing. Do y'all remember when Al-Walid went to, quote, ground zero like several days after 9/11 and attempted to give Rudy Giuliani some kind of like $20 million check? And Rudy Giuliani refused to take the check and refused to shake Al-Walid's hand. Al-Walid, of course, being one of the richest Saudi princes that were a part of the recent bin Salman purge. But I just want y'all to remember. Y'all remember that? And why do you think Rudolph Giuliani didn't shake Al-Walid's hand? You don't think Rudy Giuliani knew what happened on 9/11 and he couldn't say anything because he'd probably end up dead? That's why he didn't shake Awalid's hand, because he knew that the goddamn Saudis were in on this, just like the fucking black operations of the CIA, just like NATO, the Mossad, etc. Now, why do I bring this up in reference to Khashoggi? The reason is, folks, is because the policy of creating Al-Qaeda, the policy of using Al-Qaeda, which ended up evolving into ISIS against the United States, is over. You don't hear about ISIS and Al-Qaeda talking about America anymore. Now, because Trump is in office, he has directed the CIA to utilize the jihadist assets that were created by the CIA, and that was, of course, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, etc., to not use them against the United States people to perpetuate this war on terror. Instead, we are now utilizing ISIS against our foes. Hence, why we're seeing ISIS show up in Chechnya and killing policemen. Hence, why we're seeing ISIS show up inside the country of Iran and shooting their military parade. Hence, why we're seeing ISIS show up in Afghanistan. And soon, coming soon to China, we're going to start seeing ISIS take responsibility for attacks in China or surrounding China's interest. Now, even though we have these ISIS fighters now utilized in this capacity, we have people that are still a part of the CIA and black operation wings that don't like the current strategy of how we are using the ISIS fighters, because they want to stay with the strategy of utilizing these jihadists against the United States so that they could turn us into Europe. You see that? I mean, what happened right after 9/11? They pushed the Patriot Act. They pushed all this weird counter surveillance to survey us, not the fucking terrorist, to survey us, to infringe on our Bill of Rights. And you know something, folks? This is an absolute fact. The Patriot Act was written 3 months before 9/11. They had that shit ready and prepared. Now, because we have CIA factions that still believe in the old use of ISIS fighters or Al-Qaeda or whatever you want to call them, you have elements that want to go back to the war on terror. You have elements that want to continue to use the the jihadist factions against the United States people, so that not only does it incrementally bring in totalitarianism, but it dictates the United States' foreign policy and military operations based on these fictitious and CIA-driven hits on the United States and its interests. I mean, that's why, folks. That's why the guy that, and I hate to bring this up again, the guy who owned that limo that killed 20 people in New York recently, you ain't going to get that guy anywhere. That guy's in Pakistan. That guy was used by the CIA and the FBI to lure people that were Americans into believing that if they drop the briefcase off from here to there, they get $100,000 and they'll be helping and participating in terrorism in the United States. I mean, they literally used the guy who owned that limo that killed 20 people in New York. They used him as a means to entrap people, to justify, hey, look, we're catching terrorists. Look at this. Look at the Newburgh 4. We caught 4 black guys in a small fucking poor town and lured them with this fucking Ashed guy who owned Prestige Limo. We used him so he can entrap 4 black guys and accepted. You have to understand. That's why this limo, whoever was in that limo, was a part of the black operation of being killed. These are all messages being sent. There is a black operation war going on right before our eyes, and I don't think people understand what's going on. Now, the CIA factions that are still down with the old vanguard of Saudi Arabia, the Wahhabists that helped them pull off 9/11, helped them pull off all these terrorist attacks to justify the war on terror, those goddamn people aren't in charge anymore in Saudi Arabia. I mean, lest we forget, folks, that Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, did a purge. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the Saudi Arabian purge. Google it up. Google up purge in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabian purge, and take a look at all the names. Every single name that was purged by Mohammed bin Salman. And you know what? You'll find names like the Bin Laden family, Al-Walid, Bandar Bush, and all these different people that were completely responsible and completely connected with the CIA and black operations of the United States throughout the Bush Jr. administration and the Obama administration. Anyway, now that the United States has a new understanding with the Bin Salman kingdom, and how do I know that we have this arrangement with the Bin Salman kingdom? Folks, do y'all remember when Donald Trump went to Saudi Arabia? Man, they were showing him around Mecca. They were doing all kinds of festivities for him. And then when King bin Salman got on the microphone and started talking, he went right for Iran and blamed all the terrorism in the Middle East on Iran, and that it was Iran's fault, and this was a peaceful Middle East until Iran came around, etc., etc. I mean, there was a major deal that happened between the United States, and I'm talking about Trump's United States, and the Bin Salman kingdom. It was represented symbolically. Remember, everything's got to be symbolic. I don't want to go into the esoteric stuff. But y'all remember that one picture of Donald Trump, King bin Salman, and General Sisi when they're in front of that globe and they all touch it and then it glows? And then all of a sudden you had all these anti-terrorist, I don't know what the hell they were launching, but an anti-terrorist epicenter, a mega center. Do y'all remember that? That was the deal. That was the deal to go against Wahhabism, to go against Islamic jihadism, to go against these things. Who were the three people that were touching that globe? It was Trump, it was King bin Salman, and it was Egypt's General Sisi, now President Sisi. They all pledged to go against this Wahhabist jihadist nonsense. And that doesn't fit well with those that were a part of the previous kingdoms of Saudi Arabia. Nor does it ring well to old agents of CIA and black operations who conducted operations with the people that are a part of the purge. I mean, Bush Sr., George Bush Sr. had this guy named Prince Bandar. They called him Bandar Bush in the media because he would always be shoved up Bush's ass. I mean, Prince Bandar would go to the Bush family home during the holidays and spend the holidays with the Bushes. That's why they called him Bandar Bush. And what did Bandar Bush do for Saudi Arabia? He was the head of Saudi intelligence, the head of the CIA of Saudi Arabia. So my point I'm trying to make in this preamble is that Jamal Khashoggi is but one aspect of many different things that have been happening, showing that there is a black operation war amongst factions of the CIA that still believe in the old kingdom of Abdullah and the previous one, and don't like the direction in which Saudi Arabia has taken the kingdom, and let alone purge some of these ex-CIA assets that are now either being tortured or imprisoned or whatever the hell Prince Salman did to these people. Now, who was highlighting this? Who was out here trying to speak against Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince? Who was trying to speak against the secularization of Saudi Arabia? Who was speaking against the purge? It was Jamal Khashoggi. And you know, I know that the American media wants to put Jamal Khashoggi as some kind of an innocent journalist, and that, oh, we got to be worried about it because he's a journalist, and we got to do something against Saudi Arabia because Khashoggi died and he got murdered and all this other shit. Look at my Gab right now. Take a look at my Gab. That is the whole article. I remember I tweeted this weekend a small bit of the article showing Khashoggi holding a surface-to-air rocket with Mujahideen. And I got a hold of the entire article. Look at it right now. Not only does it talk about Arab youths fight shoulder to shoulder with Mujahideen, it also has in the top right, take a look at my Gab right now. On the top right, it's got Abu Abdullah, a.k.a. Osama bin Laden. And this is where we get the first references of Osama bin Laden, who he was, and the legend of this man from Jamal Khashoggi's work. And this was a goddamn article right now on my Gab from May 4th, 1988? Right there. And they're trying to make this guy, Jamal Khashoggi, out to be some kind of an angel, when this was the man that created the narrative of who bin Laden was before those of us in the United States knew who he was after a couple of terrorist attacks. Remember, bin Laden came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere in the late 90s, remember? Remember the bombing at that ship in Yemen? Remember he did a couple of bombing in Africa where he blew up a barracks? I mean, believe it or not, folks, Black Hawk Down, that Somalia situation, I read in one of the jihadist books that fought side by side with bin Laden that Al-Qaeda had nothing to do with that. It was mostly the African fighters of the region in Somalia. It wasn't even, to believe it or not, I read in the book that bin Laden was holding back because he was afraid that the damn Black Hawk helicopters were going to take him, because they were. But it was these Somalians that decided to shoot down the Black Hawk helicopters, and hence these are the guys that shot Black Hawk helicopters, and yet we're letting these Somalians into our country? That's a whole other issue. The point I'm trying to make is that the narrative of who we know as Osama bin Laden is written by Jamal Khashoggi. Jamal Khashoggi is a CIA asset. Okay? Now, I reported here, was it on Wednesday? Last Wednesday? That Jamal Khashoggi not only was a CIA asset, but he was promoting the Wahhabist way, and he was promoting the overthrow of the bin Salman kingdom, because he was living in Turkey, or he was actually hopping from country to country. Supposedly this guy was a U.S. citizen. Can you believe that? Can you believe that they're claiming that Jamal Khashoggi was a goddamn U.S. citizen? And I've got an article right here that shows him with the Mujahideen fighters, showing him and his first highlighting of Osama bin Laden. He's there with Khashoggi's there with a goddamn rocket-propelled grenade. And what we're supposed to think, because the mainstream media claims that this guy was a journalist? This guy wasn't a journalist. This guy was a propagandist for both the Wahhabist movement in the Arab world. Because look at the article that I'm posting up right now. That article was intended to inspire more and more Arab, quote, youths to be committing themselves to jihad from Saudi Arabia to Syria, from Egypt and all the other parts. I mean, this is what they are promoting in this article. And that's why, folks, you can read about the Russian-Afghan war. For whatever reason, and this article should tell you everything, We had Arab youths just decide to commit themselves to go to Afghanistan and fight jihad. And they were inspired by Jamal Khashoggi's goddamn articles. And because Jamal Khashoggi has been fucking writing ever since the Russian-Afghan war, you don't think that his jihadist Wahhabism word means something in the Arab community? You don't think by this guy, and look, I don't think it's an accident that he's at the Washington Post. I mean, I've been saying this for the past couple of shows. It's a meme on the internet that Jeff Bezos is CIA. You know that? It's a meme on the internet. So if Jeff Bezos is CIA, let's just say he's just working with the CIA, because I believe Amazon Cloud Services does service the CIA. And if you do business with the CIA, folks, then you are the CIA. And Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. So do you think it's an accident that Jeff Bezos, CIA, on the DL individual would hire Jamal Khashoggi so he could go and promote the overthrow of bin Salman and the kingdom that is trying to bring secularism to Saudi Arabia? Of course. The CIA was using Jamal Khashoggi's influence, his journalistic influence, via the Arab world in an attempt to offset what Trump and the Saudi Arabians have done. And what have Trump and the Saudi Arabians have done? They've went against the jihadism. They've went against Wahhabism. They've went against the policy that was used by the previous kingdom of Saud against the United States people. Now that Khashoggi is dead, and folks, didn't the prognosticator tell you that this man was not only dead, but he was chopped up into little pieces, and he's probably spread all over Turkey somewhere? But Turkey claims that they have a video and audio of proof alleging his murder. According to reports, there is something that was monitoring his Fitbit that he had on his wrist, and he also had a camera phone on at the time he went into the Saudi Arabian consulate in Turkey. And this is why Turkey is making such a big deal about this. Turkey's making a big deal because, as I stated, remember when Erdogan threw the coup on himself in the summer of 2016? And I predicted after that fake coup he was going to come out, flex nuts, try to, usurp land that once belonged to the Ottoman Empire. And he began to do that. I predicted that he was going to go into northern Syria. I predicted that northern Iraq, and he was going to go into Syria. I predicted all this stuff until Donald Trump came along. And why was Erdogan able to be such a big, tough, wannabe Islamic badass during the Obama administration? Because, folks, Erdogan was a part of it. As a matter of fact, Erdogan was playing both sides of America's black operations. And he thought that by playing both sides, he could have some major advantage. I mean, y'all remember, folks, I don't know if y'all know this, Obama met with Erdogan throughout his whole Obama administration. Throughout the whole Obama administration, Erdogan went with Obama more than any other head of state. Do you know that? Turkey's Erdogan met with Obama more than any other head of state. So that's why Erdogan was able to run roughshod and say all this crap and we got to unify the Muslim world and all this garbage that he's doing. Changing the Constitution, making himself some kind of a dictator. Well, once Trump came along, what did Trump do? Trump literally threw sanctions on this son of a bitch because of Pastor Brunson, which, folks, I told this to the inner circle before it happened. I said, look, from what I hear, Turkey is going to release Brunson because they know that they're kind of playing both sides, man. And they have had it with these sanctions that were inflicted by Donald Trump. The lira literally tanked down to nothing. They can barely keep food on the goddamn supermarket shelves out there in Turkey. They are suffering because of the sanctions. Erdogan can't afford to continue these sanctions. He can't afford to let these sanctions continue. That's why you don't hear Erdogan talking tough anymore. All right? That's why he was at the United Nations General Assembly recently, bitching and moaning and crying about how America are a bunch of economic terrorists. I mean, what happened, Erdogan? I thought you were a big fucking badass. Well, Erdogan did release Pastor Brunson this weekend, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he released Brunson right when he's trying to be used by the CIA to drive a wedge between the current administration and Trump against Saudi Arabia. And look at all the media hype. I mean, why does the media give a shit about Jamal Khashoggi all of a sudden? I mean, this proves that the majority, I've told everybody, the most of the talking head mainstream media are all CIA agents. And I get flack from everybody whenever I suggest that they're all CIA agents, that I'm off my rocker or something. Folks, the plugging of this stupid asshole Jamal Khashoggi proves that there are nothing but CIA agents within the mainstream lamestream media. I mean, why are they going all out on this guy? They're doing so to try to inspire Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack to hate Saudi Arabia. Because, folks, the Bin Salman Kingdom is barely as old as the presidency of the United States right now in Donald Trump. They've only been around for about 2 years, 3 years. It's a young kingdom. And they've made some drastic moves. And what the media is trying to do is utilize Jamal Khashoggi so that it can force Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack in America to be like, forget those Saudi Arabians. I'm tired of them. I hate Saudi Arabia. As a matter of fact, I think they did commit 9/11. I'm telling you this right now. But, folks, the Saudi Arabian kingdom of today is not the Saudi Arabian kingdom of yesterday. It is not King Abdullah's Saudi Arabia. It is not the previous kingdom, Saudi Arabia. This is a whole new kingdom. And that's why Donald Trump knew he could make a deal with Saudi Arabia. There's a major pact with Saudi Arabia. And that's why you have elements within the CIA trying to utilize the murder of Jamal Khashoggi as a means of justifying some kind of action. You know, that's the fucking first thing they keep asking the president. What are you going to do to Saudi Arabia because they killed some fucking jihadist propagandist? What are you going to do to Saudi Arabia? All of them are saying that. Why do we give a shit? Why do we care about a journalist, wink wink, who created the fucking narrative of Osama bin Laden? This was the guy that created the fucking legend of Osama bin Laden. He's a Wahhabist. He's a devout Wahhabist. He was employed by the Washington Post to push out more Wahhabist propaganda, to inspire the Arab youth that he helped inspire during the 80s Afghan-Russian war. You know, the Arab youth and that one guy. Look at the fucking gab! Look at my gab! There's the article right fucking there! He was trying to do the same thing at the Washington Post in an attempt to remove the Bin Salman kingdom, and I think that Bin Salman is in his fucking right to murder this guy. You kidding me? I'd have done the same thing if I was Bin Salman. I would have had this idiot removed, chopped up, and never heard from again. Now, unfortunately, because I believe Saudi Arabia knows that Turkey has all this evidence, they finally have to come out and say, look, okay, we know that Khashoggi came in here, but look, we were interrogating a guy, and, it got a little rough, and he died, all right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who's looking? And why were they interrogating Khashoggi? The same reason why every one of the Arabs that were a part of the Saudi Arabian purge, they were tortured as well. Because you don't think Mohammed bin Salman, you don't think he knows where the bodies are buried after torturing all the people that were a part of the Wahhabist faction of his family? You don't think he knows all the CIA agents You don't think that he knows everything? They tortured these people so that they could get all the intelligence and the information necessary, and believe it or not, that's what's helping Trump. That's what's helping Trump, is the fact that he's got Saudi Arabia out here torturing the old Wahhabist faction that were aiding the CIA during the the Bush Jr. and the Obama administrations. Y'all remember, folks, I mean, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, they were our enemies. You know, they were bombing us and, you know, all this nonsense. We're chopping heads off of Christians in the Middle East. That's not the policy anymore. That's why I keep telling you, you see fucking ISIS hitting up our foes now, because that's what we're using them for. And that's what we should be using them for. But why did the Bush Jr. and Obama administration use them against us? To perpetuate the war on terror. The meaningless and endless war on terror. Now that Trump's in office, you don't hear about the war on terror anymore, do you? You don't hear about the damn war on terror too much. I mean, why do you think that Donald Trump was so confident in that he was going to eliminate ISIS right when he got into office? Why do you think he was so confident? Because Donald Trump's not stupid! He knows that it was CIA directing these fucking jihadists to inflict damage on the United States to justify the war on terror. So, folks, that's what we're witnessing right now. We're witnessing an internal CIA civil war in which we have elements of the old CIA of Bush Jr. and Obama utilizing their influence in an attempt to drive a wedge between the Trump administration and Saudi Arabia. And I'm telling you, it is against our national security to allow the factions of the CIA that are trying to have their agents in the mainstream media plug Jamal Khashoggi as some fucking angel, when this man was the guy who created the narrative of bin Laden. This man was the propagandist that brought the Arabs to the fucking Afghanistan to fight with the Mujahideen in the 80s. This fucking guy's no angel! And like I said on the last broadcast, okay? Like I said on the last broadcast, where was the outcry for Michael Hastings? You know, Michael Hastings was a leftist journalist, but he had some scoop on Barack Obama. And he told people, look, he's got a very serious story he was working on. He needed to go deep undercover. He thought people were watching him and all this nonsense. And folks, they killed Michael Hastings by taking control of his car, purposely throwing it in like 100-mile-per-hour uncontrollable capacity. And folks, you could take a look at the fucking footage for yourself. And the footage comes from a street camera in which Michael Hastings' car, right before it hits a tree, it explodes before impact. Now, why would it explode before impact? Because they wanted no evidence of any kind of car tampering or anything of that capacity. They literally burned his Mercedes to a crisp. Even Mercedes had to come out and say, wait a minute, that doesn't happen to our cars. Where was the outcry when the death of Andrew Breitbart? Nobody gave a shit about Andrew Breitbart, man. I mean, I keep saying this. This man was murdered with some kind of a fucking CIA tool. He was walking down the street, according to a witness, and then just completely just collapsed on his face and was turning purple and blue and all kinds of shit. And the witness that witnessed Andrew Breitbart collapse ended up missing. The autopsy coroner that did the autopsy on Breitbart, he ended up dead, was it 3 or 4 days later, of a, quote, heart attack. I mean, folks, if we're going to put this fucking Jamal Khashoggi on such a pedestal, then, man, we've got some serious problems. All right? Who gives a shit about this jihadist Jamal Khashoggi? All right? I think he deserved to die as far as I'm concerned, because he aided the creation of the Mujahideen which were the fighters that fought against Russia in Afghanistan, which in turn created Al-Qaeda, which was used by the CIA to inflict these terrorist attack on American interests so they could justify the war on terror. They could justify the fucking Patriot Act that was written 3 or 4 months before 9/11, to justify the surveillance state, to justify everything, to justify the war of civilizations. I mean, just take a look at what happened after 9/11, folks. What the fuck happened? What happened after 9/11 is that the Middle East turned into a fucking war zone. Now, why did they turn it into a war zone? Because they knew there were going to be massive amounts of refugees. And take a look at what they did to those refugees. They put them right into Europe. They were trying, at least during the Obama administration, bring them over here. They were trying to, bring them on planes and bust them across the country over here. Luckily, there's a pond, there's a huge ocean between us, and they could only do it in limited capacity. Folks, all they did for Europe was open up the floodgates through Turkey, and 3 million Yehudis, I'm talking battle-hardened Yehudis, invaded Europe. And the sad part about it is that Europe accepted these refugees with open arms and provided them hospitality, I should say, in their countries. And look at what the Yehudis have done. They're committing terrorist acts. There's now Sharia zones in places like Germany, in places like France. Sharia zones. They're now sexually assaulting and raping women all across Europe. And yet the domestic police don't do anything about it. I mean, it's a serious situation. You don't think that was planned, folks? That was absolutely planned. Remember, the European Union is communist, and communism is all about central planning. They plan everything. And the reason they allowed the Yehudis to come into Europe is to kill up 80 birds with one stone. I mean, obviously, by the Yehudis being battle-hardened, seeing heads chopped off, seeing body parts being blown up, they have no problem going into pussy socialist Europe and slapping the whole population around because it's easy for them. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure these Yehudis think it was easy just to infiltrate Europe and to bitch them around. Because look at what they're doing. Secondly, once these Yehudis decided to either commit terrorist acts, commit violent acts, whatever the case might be, it justifies the European Union to implement totalitarianism. And you notice how the European Union and the nation states therein are always quick to penalize, if not jail, people that talk against the migration process, that talk against the migrants. I mean, that's totalitarianism, man. You can't talk about the invaders that are invading your country? No, you can't, because the European Union says so. So why did the European Union bring the Yehudis to Europe? Folks, not only does it bring totalitarianism, it does what Marx calls for in the Communist Manifesto, the elimination of culture. That's why they're not caring about these wild jihadists, these Arab migrants. They don't care if they're raping as many blonde, blue-eyed women as they possibly can, because they want to eliminate the cultures of the nation states that comprise the European Union. They want to eliminate the cultures. They want to eliminate the racial makeup because they want a new Europe. A new Europe where there's no more separation of the European Union by borders. There is no separation of people by race or any kind of cultural makeup. This is Communism Manifesto being implemented in Europe, and people don't even fucking know it. As I stated, what was the last country to call itself a union? The Soviet Union. The first communist nation state. And you see, folks, the reason I bring this up is because had 9/11 never happened, we wouldn't even be here. Had 9/11 never happened, we wouldn't have had the War of Civilizations. Had 9/11 never happened, we wouldn't have a destabilized Middle East. If 9/11 had never happened, we would not have a migrant crisis in Europe. But as I stated, every time we talk about this subject matter, that's why there were so many factions involved in pulling off the operation that was 9/11-2001. And everybody that was involved, I've given you the actors that were involved. It was our black operation CIA. It was the Saudi Arabian secret intelligence. It was the Mossad from Israel and NATO. All of those groups I just mentioned benefited generously after 9/11. I mean, the NATO factions, look at Europe now. Look at how big European Union is. Look at how big NATO is. Look at what Israel's doing right now. They are literally, just mass murdering Palestinians and encroaching more and more on their lands now. Because, at this point, no one really gives a shit about the Palestinian cause anymore, because the Palestinians, instead of showing that they're not savages, instead of showing that they're civilized people, they decide to go ahead and purposely throw their women and children in the front line so that Israel can make sure to kill them first, so they can put them on a camera and say, look at what Israel did and all this other shit. But either way, Israel, they're literally now full steam ahead with encroaching settlements. Take a look at Saudi Arabia after 9/11. Did y'all remember Bush, for fuck's sake, fucking holding the fucking King Abdullah's hand? Remember that? Like he was King Abdullah's bitch, for Christ's sake. Y'all remember that shit? Wake up, man. Just wake the fuck up is all I'm saying, man. And by the way, just to prove to you that there are black operations going on and people are doing this and that to try to show that, that there's a black operation going on, Germany, which is one of the major components of NATO, which aided in a capacity in the 9/11 attacks, guess what they did today? You see, we had Jamal Khashoggi die last week sometime, or I think he's been missing since October 2nd. So Khashoggi goes missing. Then we have that accident in New York killing 20 people that's owned by a shed being an FBI informant that would entrap people for terrorism in the United States. Then we have whoever the hell was in that car. Like I said, whoever was in that limo of 20 was a target, and it was yet another black operation hit amongst the internal war of the CIA and factions within elsewhere. Well, folks, today Germany set out and let free a 9/11 suspect, Mansour el-Mutasaddiq. Mansour el-Mutasaddiq was set free, even though he was one of the 9/11 suspects. Remember, he was the guy that knew the 9/11 hijackers. They went to the same, what is that, the little temple? What the fuck? Madrasa, whatever the fuck it's called. Their little mosque, that's what it is. Their mosque. Remember they had a mosque in Germany, and this is where a lot of the 9/11 hijackers first came in contact with one another? Y'all remember that? This was one of the guys that helped organize the crew of 9/11 hijackers, supposedly. And he was set free today by the Germans. Can you believe this? You don't think that was done on purpose because of all the activity that we're seeing with the Jamal Khashoggi murder and, all the things I've been telling you, folks, it's happening right before our very eyes, man. Anyway, folks, we are now in the we're actually fucking 6 minutes in. Actually, 4 minutes in. 4 minutes into the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I love being independent, baby. Type this in your fucking browser and add it to your bookmarks, add it to your favorites. The following, ghost.report. All right? That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, ghost.report. And once again, if you don't have yourself a free Gab account, then get yourself one. And follow me on my only social media representation on the internet, and that's on Gab. You can follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab, folks. All right, and if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, what's going on in the True Capitalist Radio chat room, then all you've got to do is go to my Gab account right now and click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, private message me on Gab, and I will private message you back with a personal invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple, okay? And by the way, once again, I do want to remind everybody, if you do appreciate the content that you are listening to, go ahead, and if you want to sustain the continuity of it as well, go ahead and go to ghost.report and click the tab that states cryptocurrency wishing well. Throw some cryptocurrency in there, and may all your wishes come true, while at the same time you are helping the continuity and the sustainability of this broadcast. And once again, I want to thank these guys out here that have been that have been throwing some major crypto into the cryptocurrency wishing well. I thank you guys dearly once again. You're the reason why I continue to do this broadcast faithfully, because I want to be honest with you, I really wanted to take the day off, but you know, when you got people out there throwing some cryptocurrency in the cryptocurrency wishing well, man, you can't let them down. You can't let people down. You can't let people down, baby. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. Let me go ahead and give some shout-outs to some of these people out here in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. Let's go ahead and... What's going on to Aquilian? How you doing, man? Billy Cossack, what up, man? We got Capitalist America, great gains. Cheers, man, great gains. We got Hans Uberlander, Herb Capitalist, Holden Capitalist in the house, Insane Energy, Man Bear Pig, Metaform, Nat in the place, Pepe the Frog, what up, man? We got Prince in the house, Stagio, what up, man? We got the God of Rage, and what is this? Toys R Us first, Sears next. Shut up, the pet Mexican, for Christ's sake. As a matter of fact, I think Toys R Us is coming back. They actually got some investors to bring it back or some shit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let me move on. I just want to reiterate once again that Jamal Khashoggi, this ex-CIA and Saudi intelligence operative propagandist for Wahhabism, is no angel. And you know what? Who cares if this guy is gone? All right? This guy... He's the guy who created the narrative of the legend Osama bin Laden. He created the legend. Everything we know about this guy is through this guy's journalism. As a matter of fact, take a look at Jamal Khashoggi's Wikipedia page. It even states on there that Khashoggi attempted to use his influence with bin Laden to stop him from being so violent. Give me a fucking break, man. Open your eye. This guy's a piece of crap. And you see... Like I told you, the reason that the CIA is doing this is an attempt to drive a wedge between the Trump administration and the current Saudi kingdom. Because the Trump administration and the current Saudi kingdom are really tight, man. They have an understanding. They have a partnership to go against the current global order. And the current global order is attempting to utilize jihadist assets in an attempt to take over the entire world. That was their intention. You bring in these jihadists as migrants or as refugees, and then they commit terrorist acts, and instead of blaming the migrants, they blame the domestic population, and that's how they incrementally bring in totalitarianism. Just take a look at what's going on in Europe if you don't believe me. Just take a look at what's going on in Europe if you do not believe me. Anyway, once again, Jamal Khashoggi, big deal, all right? Anyway, let's continue on, folks, because I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time. I actually spent a lot of time on that issue. But you can look at all the documentation, man. I mean, I'm proving to everybody what this is all about. If you don't believe me, that's your problem, all right? Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Democrat mob, shall we? Now, Democrats continue to incite violence, folks. We talked about last week, Eric Holder utilizing Michelle Obama's "when they go low, we go high." Instead, Eric Holder said, "if they go low, we kick them." You have Hillary Clinton coming out saying that they're not going to be civil until they get power again, the Democrats. Here recently, folks, you've got this stupid, dumb son of a bitch, Alec Baldwin, publicly calling for an overthrow of the government under Trump. Can you believe that? Alec Baldwin. I mean, look, since this guy is committing treason, isn't it kind of open season on this dude, in my opinion? I mean, since he's out here calling for an overthrow of the United States government under Trump, isn't it like open season to break this fucking guy's jaw or nose? I'm not kidding around. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I don't see Alec Baldwin losing any money because of Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, he's making money because of Trump. I mean, these fucking dumb people are stupid. I mean, Ted Koppel, believe it or not, was in some kind of a forum with that stupid fucking cue ball asshole on CNN, Setzer, or whatever the hell his name is. And even Ted Koppel said, look, if Donald Trump was around, if he was not president, CNN's ratings would be in the toilet. And Setzer couldn't believe that Ted Koppel was saying this, but it's the truth. All right, Donald Trump is good for baseball. And what I mean by that, it's been good for the media. They cover in a negative capacity our president on a 24-hour basis, for heaven's sake. And here we have Alec Baldwin calling for an overthrow of the U.S. government under Trump. Under what grounds? Why? I mean, you're getting paid generously in this Trump America. That's why I'm saying it's open season on Alec Baldwin to somebody kick the shit out of this dude. Break his fucking jaw. Break his face. I mean, he's calling for the overthrow of the government, man. How much more do we have to take of this before we start, busting a few heads ourselves? I'm not joking. He's calling for an overthrow of the U.S. government. That's open season on this guy to get his nose broken, his jaw broken, or something where he's going to be put out of commission for a long time. How dare you? How dare you, you ungrateful piece of comic crap. You suck. Your comedy sucks. Your acting sucks. I mean, lest we forget, folks, Alec Baldwin, even though he's being championed like, oh, look, he's such a great Democrat. Look at him. He's calling for the overthrow of Donald Trump. Yay. Lest we forget that this was the same guy that was documented in a phone conversation being verbally abusive to not only his ex-wife, Kim Basinger, but his daughter. I mean, did we forget this as well? Did we forget that Alec Baldwin, was like, bad-mouthing his own goddamn daughter, and it's documented on a fucking recording? I mean, these Democrats are so hypocritical, aren't they, man? They are so hypocritical. I mean, here they made a humongous deal about Brett Kavanaugh because some stupid, dumb California leftist activist, professor, psychiatrist, kookster thought that she got grinded on against her will 36 years ago, and everybody had to take this stupid shit serious. But here you got Alec Baldwin over here calling for an overthrow of the United States government under Trump, and yet we have literally forgotten about how abusive he has been to women himself. Not just the wives and girlfriends, his own fucking children, his own daughter. How can anybody take what this scumbag says for any kind of goddamn legitimacy? How? I mean, it just goes to show you how fucking stupid, hypocritical, and contradictory the left is, for Christ's sake. But you know what? People are listening to these people for a call for violence. You got a lot of leftists listening to this call for violence. Did y'all hear what happened to Susan Collins? And look, I was against Susan Collins because she likes to attention whore a lot because she's a woman and I'm a woman and I don't know if I can vote for Kavanaugh because I don't think that I don't know. I've been critical of Susan Collins. But because she voted for Kavanaugh, now she's like the frustration of feminists, of leftists. And folks, today, hazmat crews had to respond to the home of Susan Collins because of a suspicious letter. Now, no other information has come out other than that, but from reports that I've gotten, whoever was exposed to this letter may have been her husband, and that's why hazmat crews are there. We don't know what was in the letter. Obviously, it was a substance. Whether it was legitimate or a hoax, I have no idea. But this is where the Democrats are going, folks. This is what they're inciting. This is what they're advocating. And that's why anybody who's a Democrat in 2018 is a lunatic. Is literally off their rocker, man. How much more violence do the Democrats have to incite before we start holding some of these sons of bitches accountable? And if the government isn't going to hold these people accountable, folks, if there's violence, we need to take all these people's names down. And they should be the first ones inflicted with repercussion violence if they inspire some major violence on the domestic front. I'm not even kidding around. I think that if anything majorly violent happens in America due to leftist incite of violence, we should go right to the home of Alec Baldwin and literally go there with pitchforks and torches and ask him a few questions, to say the least. We should go to everyone who has advocated violence and inflict our frustrations on them. Because, folks, I don't care who is in power. Obviously I care on a political front because, I want the best for the country. But nobody wants mass unrest. At least nobody with any kind of common sense. Nobody with anything to lose. They don't want civil unrest. And that's why I'm telling you, folks, we better watch it. These people continue to incite violence. And if there is any mass violence, folks, we should hold these people accountable if the government isn't. I think that we should be holding Alec Baldwin and all these fucking people that have advocated for violence. We need to go up to them and we need to hold them accountable. I'm sorry. This is the Democrat mob that we are dealing with in today's America. The Democrat mob. And speaking of Hillary Clinton, let's talk about her for a second. Did you hear Hillary Clinton denied that Bill Clinton's affair with Monica Lewinsky was abuse? She said that wasn't abuse. That was a consensual sexual affair. Can you believe that? Huh? In this day and age of Me Too, Hillary Clinton literally is still defending Slick Willie over here. Well, of course she would, Ghost. I'm Bill Clinton, baby. She's my attack dog whenever I rape women. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me let you listen to what Hillary Clinton said exactly, okay? You got to listen to what Hillary Clinton said exactly. Remember, this is the new Me Too movement. Remember, we put a kookster, a fucking lying, slut-bagging, psychologist, liberal activist, skankosaurus bimbo like Blasé Ford. We put her on a fucking pedestal because supposedly she got grinded on. It wasn't even a sexual assault. She got grinded on at a party 36 years ago, and she's got major post-traumatic stress, and I've got to talk like a little girl, and I got to talk like this. We took this shit serious, and here we have Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton defending her rapist, sexual, abusive husband in today's America. I want you to listen to what Hillary Clinton said. It is freaking disgusting. And listen to her arrogance in her voice. Listen to the arrogance in this woman's voice, all right? Let's go ahead. Put it on, engineer. Go ahead.
There are people who look at the incidents of the 90s and they say a president of the United States cannot have a consensual relationship with an intern. The power imbalance is too great.
Who was an adult. But let me ask you this. Where's the investigation of the current incumbent?
What about?
What about?
Hey, Hillary, you see this? It all goes back to Trump. What about Trump, huh? What about Trump? What about Trump? There's no fucking sexual assaults against Trump. You know what Trump is supposedly guilty of? Paying a whore a price to shut her fucking mouth. And you know what? She can't even do that. I'm talking about these stupid, dumb fucking bimbos that are coming out, the Stormy Daniels and the other sluts that were paid to shut their mouths, but they can't do it. They're not even good whores, for Christ's sake. And you're trying to compare Donald Trump to your fucking rapist husband, Bill Clinton, Hillary? Let's hear that one more again. I got to hear this again. Listen to the arrogance of this bitch's voice. Listen.
There are people who look at the incidents of the 90s and they say a president of the United States cannot have a consensual relationship with an intern. The power imbalance is too great.
Who was an adult. But let me ask you this. Where's the investigation of the current incumbent?
Shut up.
Against whom numerous allegations have been made, and which he dismisses, denies, and ridicules. So there was an investigation, and it, as I believe, came out in the right place.
And in retrospect, do you think Bill should have resigned, President Clinton should have resigned in the 90s in the wake of the Monica Lewinsky scandal?
Absolutely not.
So
absolutely not. You wanted Brett Kavanaugh to step down because some stupid, dumb, fucking leftist activist, California professor in psychology suggested that, I got grinded on 36 years ago and I can't take it. I got post-traumatic stress and anxiety because of it. And she says absolutely not, in reference to her husband and if he should have stepped down, considering he was the president of the United States, utilizing his power as a president so that he could, get his rocks off, all right, on some, portly fatty that he obviously took advantage of. This is a 21-year-old intern, for heaven's sake. I mean, have y'all read the Kenneth Starr report? You know what? If you're a sick, twisted, fetish asshole who likes, like sexual stories and fan fictions and all that crap, you would love the Starr report, okay? I mean, in the Starr report, it admits that for whatever reason, Bill Clinton, in a sexual liaison with Monica Lewinsky, used her vagina as a humidor by sticking a fucking cigar in her twat, okay? And this was written. I mean, this was talked about on the mainstream media back in the 90s. These were the conversations that we were having back in the 90s, for Christ's sake. I mean, did you people remember what the fuck Bill Clinton said? He tried to redefine what a blowjob was. I'm sorry to be so vulgar. He tried to redefine fellatio as the equivalent of a handshake. Y'all remember that shit? He tried to equate getting blown with getting a handshake. And that's how he claimed he wasn't in guilt of perjury because, well, I don't think blowjobs I don't think they're sexual relations. I don't think there's sexual relations at all. It's like shaking somebody's hand. Women do that. Women, instead of shaking my hand, they get down on their knees and they put my flesh flute in their mouth. That's what they do. I mean, good God, man. And this is the conversations we were having. And yet, in today's Me Too era, not even self-proclaimed feminist Hillary Clinton can admit that Bill Clinton should have stepped down. This was the same stupid broad and her party that were hooping and hollering about how Brett Kavanaugh should step down. Do you understand the hypocrisy and the contradictions now in this goddamn Democrat Party, for Christ's sake? That's why they don't deserve power, for Christ's sake. Go ahead and play the rest of the fucking clip of the stupid Hillary rotten Clinton. Go ahead.
Believe came out in the right place.
And in retrospect, do you think Bill should have resigned, President Clinton should have resigned in the 90s in the wake of the Monica Lewinsky scandal?
Absolutely not.
So it wasn't an abuse of power?
No.
You do not believe he should have resigned?
No.
How do you contend with members of your own party now saying he should have?
That's their right to their opinion, but they were not in the middle of it.
Oh, hey, you weren't in the middle of it, or you didn't know, all right? But nowadays, in today's Me Too movement, a mere allegation now puts a man in the guilty category just because some woman says something. I mean, that's what the Democrats are now touting. Remember during the Kavanaugh confirmation? If a woman says she was sexually assaulted, we automatically have to believe her. We automatically have to believe her. Except when it comes to their own party, right? Except when it comes to them. I mean, this makes me sick, man. I'm not even kidding around. I can't believe that people are actually Democrats and can look at themselves in the mirror in the face every morning and claim they are a good person. I'm not fucking kidding, man. I'm not even kidding around. Oh, my God. But hey, this is what the Democrats wanted to be president in 2016, remember? This is who they thought was a shoo-in into the presidency in 2016. Hillary rotten Clinton. Give me a break. And all of you women that supported Hillary Rotten, that are on the left, that are feminists, don't you feel fucking stupid? Don't you feel stupid that this is a woman that is sticking by her rapist man? How you like that? How you like that? Not only did she stick by her rapist man, she was his pit bull, man. She would go out and threaten those that would accuse Bill Clinton of sexual abuse and sexual harassment. She would threaten them. She would send her Hillary Clinton goons out to intimidate them. I mean, y'all ever heard of Kathleen Willey? Kathleen Willey literally got harassed almost near to death by Hillary Clinton's goons. They killed her cat and then went up to her and said, "Damn shame what happened to that cat. Maybe you should keep your mouth shut about Hillary and Bill, huh?" I'm not joking, man. I mean, this is the kind of woman that these feminists were backing up. This is the kind of woman they wanted as president, for Christ's sake. And thank God Donald Trump beat this fucking broad in the election, because I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what the reality would have been like with a Hillary Clinton presidency, for Christ's sake. I don't even want to know. But you know something? I like the fact that Hillary Clinton continues to talk. You want to know why? Because she is literally ruining the chances of any goddamn Democratic blue wave in the 2018 elections. While all these Democrats are out here campaigning, she's out here just literally making an ass of herself and the Democratic Party, and people that are out there on the campaign stump have to talk to the constituents out there on whether or not they agree with Hillary. I know that you're running under a Democratic ticket, but do you agree with Hillary Clinton that Bill's affair with Monica was not abuse? And what does a Democrat have to do? They got to do what they typically do, which is a bunch of word trickery, which is a bunch of rhetorical mumbo-jumbo, so they can get themselves out of the scenario so they don't answer the question. But there you are right there, folks. That was what they ran in 2018. Good God, man. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's get to a couple of international news, okay? I only have limited international news since I was covering the Khashoggi thing, you know? But I want to talk a little bit about Brexit here. Now, I don't know if you saw Theresa May in front of the Parliament this morning, or at least this morning where we are at here across the pond. But I don't know what Theresa May is thinking. I think that Theresa May is off her gourd. I think that... I mean, she underscores why women shouldn't be leaders, in my personal opinion, because I, for the life of me, don't understand why Theresa May continues to want to, quote, deal with the European Union. I mean, it's your country, okay? Why don't you say, you know what, European Union, fuck you. I'm going, as the leader, going to suggest to the Parliament that we do our own business deals. We do our own economic deals. We don't want, free reign, unrestricted travel. We don't want this garbage, all right? But no, for whatever reason, and, you and I know why, especially you Brits out there, you know that Theresa May was always for Remain. She wanted to remain in the EU. Now, if you looked at the Parliament and her responses to them this morning, there is a big divide in the Parliament. Now, one of the major contributing factors of the fact that there may be a no-deal Brexit comes down to Ireland. It comes down to Ireland because Northern Ireland wants to stay in the EU and the other part of Ireland doesn't. And because Theresa May's solution is to not only continue to fucking deal with the EU and whatever the hell that means, but she suggested that there be a border between Northern Ireland and Ireland itself, which angered a lot of people in Parliament, to say the least. And aside from that, folks, what Theresa May said in Parliament today, she said that even though there is a Brexit deal on the table, the Chequers Brexit deal, that even though they may have a soft Brexit, they will still be tied to the EU economic system until another deal can be negotiated and how they separate that. I mean, how much more time do you need, you stupid dumb broad? How is this woman a leader, for Christ's sake? It's been 2 years. How the fuck do you not know? I mean, folks, I don't understand why Theresa May, once she got the authority from the people, why she didn't say, look, EU, fuck yourself, we're independent, I don't know how you usurped our goddamn sovereignty anyway, we don't need you, I'm doing bilateral deals with all my Commonwealth, with the United States, with Japan. I mean, I literally believe that had Theresa May taken an obstinate approach to the EU, that the EU would have been kissing the ass of the UK. And even if they didn't, look at the consequence of Brexit. You've got Hungary literally defying the goddamn European Union. And the European Union, I don't know if they've already done this, but they're talking about taking away their voting rights because they're not obliging what the EU suggests. Huh? I mean, here's Hungary now being told by some usurping authority that they are going to have their voting rights stripped if they don't oblige the European Union's migrant policy. Take a look at based Poland. Poland wants to have nothing to do with the goddamn European Union either. I don't blame them. They can smell the stench of communism as they're in the son of a bitch. I mean, I'm not even joking. That's why I continue to tell you folks, the last country to call itself a union was the Soviet Union, the first communist nation state. That's why the European Union is a communist idea. Anything in today's world called a union is a communist centralization of power. And I've talked about this many times. There's already an African Union. They've negotiated it months ago. Look it up if you don't believe me. They're attempting to try to make an Asian Union. Remember, they tried to do it to us over here on this side of the globe. Remember with the North American Union? Remember that? They tried. They tried, for Christ's sake, the North American Union, but you know what? We elected Donald Trump, baby. And Donald Trump gave the American people back the American country that they were bequeathed. So once again, folks, Theresa May, Prime Minister of UK, has divided the Parliament. And you know, you've got a lot of people in Parliament suggesting now that there should be another vote. Yeah. That if there is no deal, and it's a, quote, hard Brexit, that there should be another referendum vote, for Christ's sake. You know, all UK needs is some leadership out there. How in the hell, it's just like what the president says. I'm talking Trump, President Trump. The art of the deal. I mean, right now, all I'm witnessing is Theresa May begging the EU to deal. Why not just walk away, Theresa May, and start doing bilateral trade agreements and say, look, for whatever reason, the EU is trying to utilize this divorce as a means of sabotaging our country, and the UK has to look out for its own interests. So by doing so, we are going out and bilateral trading. I mean, you know, the UK doesn't really have much debt. I mean, they could be a very powerful country if they had leadership to do so. Not this quasi-communist bimbo who looks like she just rolled out of a goddamn carton of cigarettes, Theresa May. And folks, somebody on the True Capitalist Radio chat room just posted from the Financial Times that Brussels gives UK 24-hour Brexit deadline to firm up their position after talks break down. So you see, once again, I mean, here you've got the European Union holding the UK by the balls when I don't understand why. Why? Why are you allowing them? Go tell the EU to piss off and do your own trade deals. Why don't you tell the EU to piss off and control your own fisheries and do your own thing independently? Why is this Theresa May insisting on dealing with this fucking non-fucking voted-in bureaucracy? I don't get it. I don't get it, and you know what? I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it, but I'm telling you folks in Britain this. This Brexit referendum is the last time they will ever let you vote for anything again. Are you kidding me? Y'all made David Cameron have egg on his face, and rightfully so. So we shall see what happens. We got 24 hours, huh? 24 hours is what the EU has given an ultimatum to Britain on, who, you know what? Why don't you, Britain, please, somebody overtake the Parliament and remove Theresa May and put somebody in there with balls to tell the EU, look, you know what? Don't even give us 24 hours. Go fuck yourself. How about that? We do our own deals. We don't need you. We don't need your fucking market. Your market is fledgling anyway. You continue with the economic stimuluses. The euro is shit. I mean, what's so great about your market anyway? Most of the nation states that are within the European Union are all socially indebted anyway. The only ones that are Germany and France. And, you know, I'm talking about the UK. I'm tired of flexing nuts in comparison with these two over influence in the EU. So why even bother? Why even bother? Jesus Christ. Let me move on, folks, because I don't get this. I don't get it, and I don't want to get it. I'm so sick, and I'm surprised that there is nobody in the UK pissed off about this, man. I just don't understand. I mean, you know, I know that you guys have a totalitarian situation out there that you can't even... Man, in the UK, you can't even criticize the government, or you're going to get a visit at your home. But, man, sometimes you have to have balls and say, you know what, fuck you. You know what I mean? Fuck you. And I'm telling you, Theresa May is a fucking joke. And what she's doing with Brexit is also a joke. I'm telling you. This is why women shouldn't be put in power. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can call me sexist, but good God, how many more times, and I know I've said this in the past, but it bears repeating, how many more times are we just going to give women mulligans when they mess up countries, when they mess up economies, you know, when they mess up... fucking shit, man. How many more mulligans, man? I'm serious. I'm so sick of this shit. And I'm so sick of everybody always saying, oh, if women were in charge, there'd be no wars. Yay! You fucking people are stupid, man. Anyway, look, last but not least, all right? Maybe I could get out of here early because I'm so sick. Let's talk a little bit about China. Now, while you've got people in America bitching and moaning about how that, man, I ain't gonna do nothing for no motherfucking national anthem. I'm taking a knee, man. I'm taking a knee for the national anthem, man. You know what I mean? I don't like my country, man. I'm taking a knee, man. Well, you know something? In China, since everybody wants to be leftist and communist, let's take a look at what they're doing, okay? China, I'm talking the country of China, has detained a live streamer for insulting the national anthem. Can you believe that? Huh? I mean, this is what I don't get with you dumb communists. You call Trump's administration a fascist state, and oh my God, it's so horrible. And what is so horrible? You motherfuckers can still talk. You still fucking half-ass protest in the street, which you end up leaving biohazard trash when you leave. I mean, you gays can still do whatever the hell you want to do with each other. I mean, y'all aren't persecuted. What are you people bitching about? We're in one of the greatest economies in American history, and yet you people are bitching. Meanwhile, in China, if you're a live streamer, and look, this live streamer, her name is Yang Kali. All right, Yang Kali. She was a 20-year-old on this, I guess the equivalent of YouTube in China. And, she was also known as Li Ji, L-I-G-E. That was her name. And believe it or not, folks, she had 44 million followers in China. 44 million in China. Now, I believe the service that she's on is called Huya, H-U-Y-A. And because she insulted the national anthem, which is pretty silly, all she was doing was singing the Chinese national anthem, flanging her arms around a little bit, and because of that, they detained her. I mean, Mrs. Yang, also known as Little G, or Li Ji, L-I-G-E, has since publicly apologized, but the Shanghai Police Department said in a statement on Saturday that she had violated China's national anthem law. Quote, "The national anthem is a symbol of the country. All citizens should respect it and safeguard its dignity." And the authorities went further to say in China that live streaming platforms are not above the law. The law and moral standards similarly apply here. Now, under China's national anthem law, which came into force last year, those who sing the anthem in a distorted or disrespectful way can be detained for up to 15 days in a Chinese jail. Okay? Now, there are thousands of live streamers, believe it or not, in China. This Li Ji, 44 million followers. Can you believe that? In China. Millions tune in to view these live streamers, and these viewers send them virtual gifts. You know, and then the virtual gifts are converted to cash. In 2016, China's live streaming market was estimated to be worth $5 billion. Jesus Christ. Oh, man, I'm in the wrong business, man. I'm a podcaster, for Christ's sake, man. Maybe I should just come out and be, hey, look at me, I'm a kookster. Hey, look at me, I'm entertainment for tards. I mean, give me a break. That's all live streaming is at this point. Believe me, I've been watching live streams for a minute. It's either some stupid fat jelly-ass asshole playing video games and talking about his fucking, stupid family or some shit, or it's like, Ice Poseidon and Burger Planet, entertainment for tards. All right, that's literally all they are, is entertainment for autistic tards. And listen, folks, I am not going to be entertainment for tards. That's why this broadcast took a more serious approach. Instead of going through the years of pacifying a bunch of autistic tards and their fetish for trolling. All right? I mean, we are living in serious times, and that's why this broadcast took a serious direction. And that's why I keep telling you, people in America especially, you should be appreciative. You should be appreciative that you live in a country in which you can say whatever it is that you want to say. You stupid NFL players should be grateful that you live in America, that you're allowed to kneel without being thrown in fucking jail like you would be in China. You people in America are so unappreciative, and I'm telling you, you better start appreciating, because we almost lost our freedom during the Obama administration, and it would have even further been lost had we elected Hillary Rotten Clinton. You don't think that Hillary Rotten would have went after all the right wing and her enemies in a legal federal capacity? Of course she would. You know how evil this disgusting Hillary Rotten Clinton is. Yet everybody and their brother can talk about Trump and nothing's happening. This is freedom of speech. People are even threatening Trump's life. You've got people calling for the death of Trump on goddamn social media, and yet nothing happens to these people. Here in China, some 20-year-old little, look at this girl. Look at this girl over here. She's a 20-year-old with 44 million followers. Unbelievable. And all she did was, I don't know, flang her arms around a little bit while she was singing the national anthem, and now she's in custody at the Shanghai police station, probably going to be there for the next 15 days. So you people in America should be appreciative that you live in a fucking free country. You should be appreciative that you can criticize not only the national anthem, but you can criticize our government. And you see, folks, the more and more these Democrats call for violence, the less and less our freedom of speech is going to be preserved. And that's why these Democrats that are calling for violence, we, the United States people, need to do something about it, because if they perpetuate a violent act in which new laws have to be put forth, then it is they that are jeopardizing our fucking freedom, man. It is they that are jeopardizing our Constitution. That's why they're trying to instigate violence, man. That's why they're trying to instigate violence, and we've got to stop them. We've got to stop them, man. Anyway, folks, we got about 12 minutes left, but I think I'm going to call it for an early exit here. And the reason I say that is because I got to talk to the True Capitalist Radio chat room here. And by the way, I'll be in the True Capitalist Radio chat room in about 30 minutes. I'm going to do a couple of things, probably get something to eat, and I'll probably be in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. And I need to discuss with them and give them some apologies and whatnot for not being on this Saturday. But I had to take a sabbatical, Ben. I had to take a sabbatical just so I can unwind, man, and appreciate some time on my own, myself. That's why at the beginning of this broadcast I was telling everybody, appreciate things. Don't just be all work, no play, man. We're not promised tomorrow. The future belongs to nobody. So do what you have to do today. And I'm telling you, folks, I mean, just have some appreciation for things that we all take for granted. Anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here 10 minutes early. All right? I will be back Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Type this in your browser, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites, the following, ghost.report. That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, ghost.report. And, of course, folks, if you're not following me on Gab, well, then, by God, go ahead and follow me. I actually break some exclusive stuff on Gab, man. All right? So, I am going to go ahead and continue to break some more news. That's where I posted the Jamal Khashoggi article in which he's highlighting the Mujahideen. And that's why I'm telling everybody right now that we've got to continue to promote independent media, because the mainstream media will not inform you and will not tell you the truth. So anyway, go ahead and follow me on Gab, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and hit the subscribe button if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room. Hit the subscribe button for premium content if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room. And once you do, private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will private message you back with a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. And by the way, I do want to say that everyone who is throwing some crypto into the cryptocurrency wishing well, they are actually aiding the progress of this show. They're aiding the continuity, I should say, of this show. So if you do appreciate the content, and if you are listening to my voice, you are listening to the underground, political underground of the internet. If you do want to sustain and help sustain the continuity of this broadcast, then go to my Gab, or excuse me, not my Gab account, go to ghost.report. Go to ghost.report, hit the cryptocurrency wishing well tab, and throw some cryptocurrency into the wishing well, and all of your dreams will come true, and at the same time you will be helping the continuity of this broadcast, all right? Anyway, folks, I am out of here. I am going to be in the chat room in 30 minutes, so I'll see you guys in there if you happen to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, and I will be back Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas U.S. time. Ghost.report is the website. And make sure to spread that website around like wildfire, man. Make sure to let everybody know about the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, man. We independent now, baby. Anyway, I'm out of here. Talk to you guys on Wednesday. And like I always say, long live the capitalist army and death to feminism! Death to socialism! And death to communism! I hope to see you all here Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas U.S. time, boy. You understand? Because we capitalists. You understand? We're capitalists, and we ain't never gonna go turn to the other side, baby. Capitalism should be the idea that is embraced by the world. And I'm out of here, boy. Woo!